Chapter 312. Apart from that, there was also the Nether Armor Demon. The dark armored great demon was no different from a human. Its entire body was wrapped in a shell. The dark golden shell was grown by itself, and the interior was similar to a human body. The nether armored great demon looked like a human wrapped in horned dragon armor. However, the nether armored great demon also had wings on its back that allowed it to fly. The nether armor demon was the commander of the demon army. Each one of them was so strong that even a Dao Realm 3rd or 4th transformation expert wouldn't be able to deal with them. One nether armor demon commanded many sheep-head monsters, mountain-head monsters, horse-head monsters, bat-head monsters, and even blazing monsters. Moreover, the nether armor demon's natural armor was actually a good material for crafting armor. If Gu Chunsha were to forge a nether armor great devil, he would definitely be able to forge a suit of armor that could rival the great dragon armor. Gu Chensha's cultivation was shocking, and when he used his Xiantian earth energy to form a rope, he could stretch 100 miles out. Back when Gu Chunsha was building a mansion on a mountain in Wuzhou, the innate Gang Qi swept through the entire mountain and transformed it into a huge palace. The degree of movement of the innate Gang Qi almost stunned the green and white snake. But now Gu Chensha's earth energy was even stronger. He was at peak Dao Realm 14th transformation and could use the power of the soul. After many comprehensions, his earth energy circulation was really shocking. Just now, with just a thought, the innate stellar energy automatically flew out. After cultivating the soul to leave the body, the Xiantian earth energy contained the will of the soul and was much more agile. It was like an incarnation of the body. This prince is really amazing. The two brothers looked on and were extremely shocked. During these few days, they hadn't seen Gu Chunsha show his true strength. Now that he suddenly appeared, they saw tens of thousands of streaks of Xiantian earth energy shoot out from Gu Chensha's body. In just a few breaths, the nearby bushes were filled with captured monsters. At such a speed, no matter how many monsters there were, they would all be captured. 7-colored demon vine, absorb. Gu Chunsha once again sent a large amount of astral energy into the demonic vine. The demonic vine's tentacles once again stabbed into the bodies of the fiends. Now, the 7-colored demonic vine had hundreds of tentacles, and each tentacle was several miles long. In other words, the creatures within several miles could not escape the attack of this demonic vine. After half an hour, the thousands of monsters that Gu Chunsha had captured were once again absorbed by the 7-colored demonic vine. After the vampiric demon vine evolved into a 7-colored demonic vine, its absorption ability had greatly increased. Crack! The Shiman brothers even saw 3 nether armor great devils being absorbed by the demonic vines. Even their thick shells seemed to have softened as they were absorbed by the vines. The 7-colored demonic vine had now grown to a height of 100 feet, and the tentacles of the demonic vine were tens of miles long. "I'm afraid we won't be a match for this demonic vine," said the 2 Shiman brothers. "Armor derivation," Gu Chunsha urged. At this time, 2 sets of armor appeared on the treetop. The armor was dark gold in color, but there were many shining stars within. There were also dragon roars. The armor moved and wings grew out from its back. The 7-colored demonic vine had absorbed 3 nether armor great devils, and it had actually formed an armor on the tree. These 2 armors are no weaker than the great dragon armor. After normal people wear them, they can fly really quickly and no evil can harm them. Experts below Dao Realm Transformation 5 won't be able to break them. Gu Chunsha pointed at the 2 armors and gave them to the 2 Shiman brothers. "King, you can't. How can we accept such precious items?" The 2 Shiman brothers rejected. "The 2 of you should be rewarded for defending this place," Gu Chunsha said. "There is no need to be so polite. Moreover, this isn't precious to me. The vampiric demon vine has been refined into the 7-colored demonic vine. As long as it absorbs the essence, blood, and souls of these monsters, it will be able to form all sorts of things. Not only could the seven-colored demonic vine form the seven-colored essence fruit, but it could also form all sorts of things based on Guchensh's technique. For example, if it absorbed the metal weapons, it could even form flying swords on the tree. The Heaven Monster book recorded how amazing the Heaven Monster tree was. How could something created by the ancient monster race saint from comprehending the Hongmeng tree be ordinary? After 2 months of hard work, Gu Chensha had evolved the vampiric demon vine into the seven-colored demonic vine. He had some confidence in suppressing the monsters here. At least, he could obtain many benefits. The two Shiman brothers accepted the two armors and flipped them around in love. Gu Chensha sat beneath the seven-colored demonic vine and refined it repeatedly, allowing it to digest the essence blood of the thousands of monsters it had absorbed. The roots of the seven-colored demonic vine became bigger and bigger. It stabbed deeper and deeper into the ground and gave off an invincible aura. Gu Chensha comprehended the mysteries of this technique. He rotated his body and realized that there were many areas where the seven-colored demonic vine could merge with his body. My Sun-Moon Dragon body is extremely powerful now, but the Heaven Monster book recorded an even stronger body than the Sun-Moon Dragon body. That is the Primordial Chaos Sacred Body. In the past 2 months, Gu Chensha cultivated without the assistance of the Dragon Gate and any Dharma treasures. He suppressed the sea of sin and sorted out all his previous cultivation techniques again. At the same time, he memorized the various mystic techniques recorded in the Heaven Monster book. Through the practice of refining the vampiric demon vine, he could perform the scenes of demons from the primordial world in his sea of consciousness with a little meditation. Although the mystic techniques contained in the Heaven Monster book were demonic Tao, there were also primordial secrets in them. The primordial chaos sacred body was not achieved through cultivation. Instead, one had to obtain the fruit of the primordial chaos tree, swallow it, refine it, and comprehend its mysteries. Then, one's entire body would become an existence similar to the primordial chaos tree. Of course, it was far inferior to the real primordial chaos tree, but it also had the characteristics of the primordial chaos tree. Even a true sage was as insignificant as a grain of sand compared to the primordial chaos tree. The greatest secret in the Heaven Monster book was actually the method to condense the Heaven Monster tree. It contains some information about the primordial chaos tree. In this way, on the surface, Gu Chensha was refining the Heaven Monster tree, but in reality, he was using the Heaven Monster tree's advancement to understand the secrets of the primordial chaos tree. At the same time, he was combining the structure of the primordial chaos tree with the Sun-Moon Dragon body, pushing his physical body to a terrifying level. At this moment, during the process of the vampiric demon vine's evolution into the rainbow demon vine, Gu Chensha had also changed his body's acupoints, Dantian's sea of qi, and even his sea of consciousness, making them more solid. He was exploring the structure of the primordial chaos tree and evolving himself to become stronger. Refining Dharma treasures was one thing, but more importantly, his own cultivation. The Tranquil Fairy Bureau had Lu Baiwei, the fourth, Zhuge Ye, Jin Suebua, and others in charge, so there were no mistakes. Especially Zhuge Ye. After recovering his identity as the Lord of 7 Stars, he had deep plans for everything. He could definitely suppress the National Fortune Party, the Scenic Martial Chamber of Commerce, the Hongyun Games, and other organizations. Even the Heavenly Designer Institute would be suppressed. If the Rainbow Demon Vine absorbs a lot of souls and blood essence, it can transform into the Ghost God's touch. At that time, I can rely on my own enlightenment to see through some of the secrets of the primordial chaos holy body. Although I can't become a real primordial chaos holy body, it won't be a problem to expand my Dantian's sea of qi and my sea of consciousness. Gu Chensha was constantly pondering the mysteries of cultivation. This was the strength of a true cultivator. Always thinking, always striving for self-improvement. He would never be lazy and would always strive for perfection. While he was cultivating the heavenly demon tree in the bottomless sea of sin, high up in the sky, two people were lurking in the depths of a cloud. They were a man and a woman. The woman was none other than Wu Dankong, sitting upright in the clouds. The thick clouds concealed her entire body. The man's face was somewhat similar to Gu Chench's, and he was dressed like a prince. This prince was actually the most mysterious second prince, Gu Xianxia, who had never shown up in the court. Your Highness, did you ask me out today for the details of the cooperation between the Hongyun Games and our Jingwu Chamber of Commerce? Wu Dankong asked. Cooperation is a small matter. There was a mysterious smile on Gu Xuanxia's face. I know that you have been collecting souls like crazy recently. It seems that you are practicing a secret method. I also need a lot of souls to refine a magic weapon. Therefore, let's cooperate and come to the place where the seal of the bottomless sea of sin is broken to capture demons. First, we can help the great Yonko court eliminate demons. Second, we can find out the truth about Gu Chenxia. What do you think? Both of them were experts with extremely high realms. Their cultivations were above the 18 changes of Tao realm. Naturally, they could see everything within thousands of miles, even tens of thousands of miles of mountains and rivers. In their eyes, they could see the edge of the cliff of the bottomless sea of sin. Within a small area of dozens of miles, the seven-colored demonic vine planted by Gu Chenxia was constantly absorbing the blood and souls of demons. The Marquis of Zhenhai invited this person to suppress the demons in the bottomless sea of sin. This person is really powerful. He actually used the demons to refine the strongest magic weapon in the Book of Heavenly Demon, the Heavenly Demon Tree. Wu Dankong looked at Gu Chenxia with deep hatred in his eyes. It's not that easy to refine the Heavenly Demon Tree. Even the great ancient demons had to kill countless living beings and experience thousands of years before they could refine it. This treasure is too heaven-defying. During the refining process there will be layers of tribulations. Gu Xianxia stared at the seven-colored demonic vine below and seemed to have some ideas. But 19th Brother's cultivation is really powerful. Although he is at the 14 changes of Tao realm, I think he may even kill an expert of the 18 changes. His sea of qi, the innate gang qi in his sea of consciousness, and the strength of his spirit are comparable to ours. You have to know that we are so many realms higher than him. Wu Dankong frowned. The seal in the center of the bottomless sea of sin is gradually breaking. There are extremely powerful demons lurking in it. I'm afraid we can't go in and kill them. So 19th Brother is very careful. He only catches some weak demons and will not go deep into the center. Gu Xianxia praised. He is a talent. He will be one of my future opponents. I originally thought that among my brothers, the fourth was the only opponent. I didn't expect 19th Brother to join us. Chapter 313. No problem. The rainbow demon vine he refined belongs to you. With just a few words, Gu Xianxia decided Gu Chench's fate. His tone was high and mighty, as if he had calculated everything. Although the rainbow demon vine is mysterious, it's only equivalent to the 9th to 10th transformation of the Tao realm. I don't know any secret techniques from the Book of Heavenly Demon, so what's the point? Wu Dankong scoffed. Is this your sincerity? Of course not. I can use the soul-absorbing technique to take everything from old 19's mind. His combat strength isn't bad, but his realm is too low. If he had the Dragon Gate, I wouldn't be able to do anything to him. With his current strength, I can suppress him with a flip of my hand. Gu Xianxia smiled and said, Of course, I still have to wait a little longer. He has a lot of secrets, and there is an extremely powerful power of creation in his bloodline, which can quickly activate the seven-colored demonic vine. Let's just watch here and find a chance to help him secretly so that he can evolve this treasure quickly. Wouldn't it be great if we can make a gift for him? You're that confident? Wu Dangkong asked curiously. The Lord of 7 Stars is scheming behind him. I'm afraid everything is within her expectations. The Lord of 7 Stars is strong, but she hasn't fully matured yet. No matter how mysterious and unfathomable Gu Xianxia was, he didn't dare underestimate the Lord of 7 Stars. They're also greedy. They want to refine the Dragon Gate, the Buzhou Palace, and the Book of Heavenly Demon into one treasure. The result of that is that the treasure can't be activated at all, and it'll be hard to completely merge them. There are so many drawbacks, so it's better to use them separately. You're oversimplifying things. With the help of the Lord of 7 Stars, the Black Tortoise and the Vermilion Bird, as well as Jin Suebua, the Lord of 5 Stars, I'm afraid it'll be very difficult to master it. When Wu Dangkong thought about this, he was furious. Those 2 experts, Ke-ing-er and Ke-huang-er, are also idiots. They gave away the Vermilion Bird egg for nothing. They've basically lost all their capital. Now the Vermilion Bird and the Black Tortoise have gathered in the calm immortal department. With every day that passes, their strength will increase greatly. It makes sense that those 2 demonesses didn't try to scheme against the Lord of 7 Star. If the Lord of 7 Star was so easily schemed against, then she wouldn't be so easily tricked. An enigmatic smile appeared on Gu Xuanxia's face. But the Lord of 7 Stars isn't invincible. I'd like to take advantage of this opportunity to pit my wits against the Lord of 7 Star. His identity has been exposed, and he has to refine that sphere of life's wishes. He also has to be on guard against all sorts of old-timers. He'll definitely be exhausted from running around. That'll give me plenty of opportunities. Speaking of which, what kind of existence is behind you? I remember that your aptitude was only above average in the past. After leaving the imperial court for so many years, your aptitude has actually become a peerless genius. This is somewhat similar to Gu Tanjian. You must have had some kind of fortuitous encounter, and there must be a giant behind you. May I know which force it is? Wu Dangkong seemed to know some kind of secret. You'll know when the time comes. The ancient mystic sand was very mysterious. But I have to tell you that the person behind me is definitely stronger than Gu Tanjian. Oh! Wu Dangkong didn't quite believe him, but she knew how powerful the ancient mystic sand was. This prince's internal energy was even stronger than hers. So what you're saying is that we should just sit back and watch Gu Qianxia cultivate? Of course not. If my speculations are correct, you're capturing living creatures to sacrifice to some powerful entity to gain power, said the ancient mystic sand. The profound ancient sand said, in that case, Gu Qianxia's 7-colored demonic vine has absorbed countless souls. The more powerful the 7-colored flower vine is, the more souls it will contain. If you sacrifice this demonic vine, it will be equivalent to sacrificing millions of evil souls. What we need to do now is secretly draw some of the devil creatures toward Gu Qianxia. That way, he'll be able to absorb them faster. That's true. If he absorbs them so slowly, how long do we have to wait? As soon as Wu Dangkong heard it, she immediately knew that the rainbow demon vine could be used as a sacrifice for countless souls, and the effect was much better than sacrificing souls alone. In that case, let's do it secretly. The ancient mystic sand moved his body and hid himself. He landed on the edge of the vast magic grass prairie with a radius of 3,000 miles in the boundless sea of sin. With his cultivation, he didn't dare to enter the center of the sea of sin. It could be seen that there were really powerful devils who could devour the world. Wu Dangkong naturally followed him. Suddenly, Gu Qianxia's heart skipped a beat, and he was alarmed. Although his cultivation was not very high and he was far from being able to deduce the mysteries of heaven and earth, because of his exquisite cultivation and profound understanding of Tao, he often had a premonition. I'm afraid that something big will happen. He immediately raised his spirits. West gate left, west gate right. Yes. The two masters immediately knelt on one knee and obeyed the order. Don't act rashly for the time being. Don't leave the range of the rainbow demon vine, Gu Qinsha warned. I'm afraid something will happen next. As he spoke, he suddenly activated the heavenly demon's secret method. Immediately, the range of the rainbow demon vine began to shrink from dozens of miles to a few miles. As the range shrank, the power became greater. Roar. At this moment, when he shrank the range, the roar of the devil grass came again. It was the voice of a monster. The demonic herbs on the grassland seemed to be growing non-stop. Originally, when Gu Qinsha came here, he was only as tall as 2 or 3 people. Now, he was as tall as 5 or 6 people. Furthermore, it seemed like he was still growing and thickening. These devil grasses were the food of those monsters. There were also situations where the monsters killed each other to eat meat, but most of them ate these devil grasses. In the depths of the bottomless sea of sin, there seemed to be a huge force driving the devil grasses in the basin with a radius of 3,000 miles to grow wildly. Your Highness, the army of monsters has appeared. Just as the 2 Shiman brothers replied, the demonic grasses in the surroundings started to surge crazily. Groups of demonic creatures rushed out and attacked the 7-colored demonic vine. The first to jump out was actually a bunch of snake-headed monsters holding long black scythes. These monsters were snake soul demons. They spat out long tongues and were really famous in the ancient hell. They were life-reaping impermanents. The snake soul demons were really quick. The black scythes they held were made of hell iron, and when they slashed, they could even injure experts at the Tao Realm Transformation 3 experts. This was because the scythes had a corrosive power. I have been carefully hiding my aura, so why are these monsters swarming over? Gu Qinsha frowned. But since they were sent to him, then he wouldn't let them go. 7-colored demon vine, pierce. He activated the secret technique once more and the 7-colored demon vine's thousands of tentacles stretched out once more. Pring 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 pring. Every strike of the vines accurately pierced through a fiend. In the past, after the vampiric demon vine pierced the monster, it would need to wiggle for a while before it could suck the blood dry. But now that it had evolved into the 7-colored demon vine, its strength increased greatly. In a flash, the monster that was pierced turned into a dried corpse and fell to the ground. The roots of the demon vine wiggled underground and pulled the dried corpse into fertilizer. All of a sudden, the monsters that charged over fell to the ground like raindrops. Gu Qinsha repeatedly activated his hand seals, urging the demonic vines to grow. He couldn't understand why the monsters on the grassland would suddenly rush at him, but he could only deal with them as they came and devour them all. This saved him a lot of effort. The 7-colored demon vine could evolve quickly. All of a sudden, who knew how many monsters swarmed over? They were so dense that the 7-colored demon vine didn't even have time to kill and absorb them. Gu Qinsha could only activate his hands and release a large shield of innate aura chi from his body, covering the ground in a radius of several miles, to prevent the monsters from squeezing in. However, the fiend monsters attacked crazily without any regard for their lives. They seemed to be motivated by some kind of power and were willing to sacrifice themselves. They hit Gu Qinsha's innate stellar chi barrier, but how could they do anything to the barrier? In the past, Gu Qinsha used the innate aura chi to transform into a black tortoise, wrapped himself in it, and lurked in the deep sea where even golden core experts couldn't enter. But now, his cultivation was 100 times stronger than before. When the innate aura chi spread out, it was simply an absolute defense. After using the aura chi to block the swarming monsters, the 7-colored demon vine kept extending its tentacles outside the aura chi shield. In just a flash, it pierced through the monsters, pulled them in, sucked them dry, and turned their corpses into fertilizer. Just like that, the swarming monsters became an inexhaustible source of food for the 7-colored demonic vine. Originally, Gu Qinsha had to send the 2 brothers to capture them or use his aura chi to search the periphery and pull in the monsters. This was somewhat time-consuming and energy-consuming. But now that the monsters were surging over, all he had to do was use the 7-colored demon vine to kill them. It was simply lying on the ground, and food automatically jumped into his mouth. While feeling strange, Gu Chunsha became even more vigilant. Sky demon art, condense all techniques, kill gods and slay immortals, and bow to ghosts and gods. He secretly activated the secret art. At this moment, in the center of the 7-colored demon vine tree above his head, a fist-sized yellow-skinned gourd condensed. The moment the gourd condensed, the Shaman brothers trembled. They felt as if their souls were about to freeze. They looked at the gourd with extreme fear. They felt as if a certain murderous aura was born in the gourd. Kill, 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 kill. Boundless killing intent brewed in the depths of the gourd, wanting to destroy everything. Is this the legendary immortal slaying god slaying flying dagger? The Shaman brothers trembled. Oh? You guys know about this flying dagger? Gu Chunsha was a little surprised. These two brothers seemed to be very knowledgeable. They were definitely not ordinary people. We studied the Immortal Tao history section of the Heavenly Talisman ceremony. The Shaman brothers said, rumor has it that although the Divine Prefecture's #1 fiercest was captured, he couldn't be killed no matter what. It was 3 celestial venerables who used this flying dagger that beheaded him. This flying dagger is a gourd that the Golden Crow race's demonic sage plucked from the primordial mist tree in ancient times. Chapter 3:14. In ancient history, there were a few Dharma treasures that were born purely for killing, and the immortal slaying god slaying flying dagger was one of them. This treasure was invincible and could cut through anything. It was first born in the primordial tree and condensed into a gourd. When the gourd was opened, a flying dagger would fly out. It was first plucked from the primordial tree by a demon sage of the Golden Crow clan. The Golden Crow clan was known as the Children of the Sun. They were abnormally powerful and could burn mountains and boil seas. Later, this gourd fell into the hands of the 3 heavenly venerables because of the many battles between the fiend gods and demons. However, many mysteries contained in this Dharma treasure had been recorded in the Book of Heavenly Fae. As long as the Heavenly Fae tree was refined, this gourd would condense and release the immortal slaying god slaying flying dagger. Of course, this refined Dharma treasure was a postnatal Dharma treasure and was far from being comparable to the one plucked from the real primordial tree. However, it was still powerful and could slay gods and ghosts. Condensing this treasure required a lot of effort. Gu Chunsha should not have refined it at this time. Fortunately, there were endless fiend monsters gathering. Even the rainbow demon vine could not absorb them all at once. He could use the excess soul blood essence that could not be absorbed to condense the immortal slaying god slaying flying dagger into the gourd. He felt that something was wrong, so he secretly refined this Dharma treasure with the strongest offensive power. Buzz, 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 as the gourd condensed, all the nutrients of the rainbow demon vine seemed to be snatched away and gathered violently in the gourd. In fact, if he condensed this gourd now, it would instantly suck away all the vitality of the rainbow demon vine, causing the vine to die and the refining of the Dharma treasure to fail. Fortunately, the countless fiend monsters and Gu Chunsha's mysterious astral energy could completely withstand it. The two of you, I'll teach you a sky fae mystic art. Stay at the edge of my astral energy barrier and help me kill the fiend. Gu Chunsha sent another psychic will into the depths of the Shaman brothers' sea of consciousness. The Shaman brothers were overjoyed. They digested this mystic technique in a few breaths and immediately leaped out to kill fiend monsters at the edge of Gu Chunsha's astral energy barrier. What they killed were fiends with extremely high cultivation bases, who could even withstand the attacks of the 7-colored demonic vine. The 7-colored demon vine's strength was only at Tao Realm Transformation 9. Although it was quick to kill those normal monsters, it was tough to kill those that cultivated Sciention energy. Especially since there were true demon kings above Tao Realm Transformation. Even if they fought one-on-one, they could probably wipe out the seven-colored flower vine. However, these monsters were blocked by Gu Chencha's astral chi barrier, and could not come in. The seven-colored demonic vine looked powerful, but after all, it was not yet mature. Gu Chencha had only planted it for 2 or 3 months. How could it become a powerful existence? Even so, it was still extremely shocking. Even some of the old antiques of the profound immortal Tao sect couldn't refine a magic treasure that could compare to a Tao realm 9th transformation expert in just a few months. All magic treasures required a long time to polish. Brother, do you see that nether armor great demon? He is really strong and actually wants to slice the seven-colored flower vines. The Shaman brothers arrived at the edge of Gu Chencha's astral energy barrier and locked onto a strong demon. It was a nether armor great demon. Apart from its shining armor, there seemed to be flames in its eyes. Its body actually gave off thick astral energy. This was the Demon King of the nether armor great demons. Demon King was pretty much the same as a Tao realm glass jade body expert. These fiends were recorded in ancient books as Demon Soldier, Demon General, Demon King, Demon Emperor, Demon God, and Demon Saint. Demon Saint was the same as a saint. Those below mortal realm were all called Demon Soldiers. Those below Tao realm transformation 6 were called Demon Generals, and Demon General was from 6 to 8. Those above Tao realm transformation 9 were called Demon Kings. Those who reached 18 were called Demon Emperors. Right now, the dark-armored great demon that was exuding innate stellar energy and had a glazed carapace was undoubtedly a Devil King. It attacked repeatedly with a blood-red saber in its hand. As long as the seven-colored demonic vines stretched out, it would slash down fiercely, causing the dozens of vines to be unable to pierce through the other monsters. Apart from that, the nether armor great demon king continued to use the blade light to try to break Gu Chencha's astral energy barrier. The Shaman brothers aimed at the demon. So, the two of them used their Xiantian energy together and their speed instantly increased. They charged out of Gu Chencha's astral energy barrier and charged at the nether armor great demon king. The nether armor great demon king sensed danger. The blood-colored blade in his hand drew an arc and aimed at their vitals. But the two of them split apart. The moment they dodged the blade light, they joined hands once more. Poochie! An eye-catching light slashed through the darkness and shot right into the nether armor great demon king's eyes. The nether armor great demon king let out a shrill scream as its aura immediately weakened. At that moment, the two brothers joined their palms together and astral energy swept out. They captured the nether armor great demon king and sent it back into the astral energy barrier. The seven-colored flower vines followed and drilled into the nether armor great demon king's body through the wound in its eyes. In an instant it was completely absorbed. Even the armor and the blood-colored blade were absorbed, leaving not a single corpse behind. Nether armor great demon kings of this level were already free of impurities. They circulated the true samadhi fire in their bodies to cultivate day and night, so they were already very pure. It was impossible for them to leave behind dried corpses like other fiends. Those corpses were impurities and could only be used as fertilizer. After the seven-colored flower vine absorbed the nether armor great demon king and its blood-colored blade, its color turned brighter. It seemed to have improved, and in the middle of it all, the tiny calabash hanging on the vine above Gu Chencha's head suddenly emitted a blood-colored light. Following that, it dimmed as though it had been completely digested. The combat power of these two is extraordinary. They have been tempered 1,000 times. I wonder how many times they have fought. They are indeed quite powerful. Gu Chencha had watched the two Shaman brothers kill the nether-armored great demon king. Originally, the two brothers and the nether family great demon king had the same cultivation. In terms of combat strength, the nether armor great demon king was much higher than humans of the same level, be it in terms of strength or battle experience. In the Hellfiend domain, there were battles every day. The weak had no way of surviving at all. But when the two of them worked together, in just one round, they heavily injured the Nether Armor Great Demon King. When they used their moves, they were like flowing water. From this, one could see that the two of them weren't ordinary, and they had trained under Marquis Calming Sea. Gu Chencha's evaluation of Marquis Calming Sea's strength increased once more. After the seven-colored demon vine absorbed the Nether Armor Great Demon King, its roots and vines were filled with rumbling essence energy. Absorbing the essence blood and soul of such a Tao Realm 9 transformation Great Demon King was much better than absorbing tens of thousands of demons. Gu Chensha once again used the Sky Demon Mystic Art to help the seven-colored demonic vine digest it quickly. At the same time, he injected a lot of Devil Chi, the essence of killing, and the natural killing intent in the soul into the gourd through the squirming of the vines, brewing the ultimate killing treasure. In just dozens of breaths, all the essence of the Nether Armor Great Demon King had been digested. The seven-colored demon vine became more condensed and a thin talisman appeared on the yellow gourd. This talisman looked like a crack in the sky and it was a shocking sight. Gu Chensha didn't care and continued to absorb all sorts of demons. As for the two Shaman brothers, they roamed around and killed some strong existences to make things easier for the seven-colored demon vine. The seven-colored demon vine was a growth treasure and not a killing weapon. Its single-target attack strength wasn't that strong and it was just apparent. Moreover, it was still in its infancy. In ancient times, many demon sages created the heavenly demon tree dermic formulation to build their own lair. When a monster refined the heaven monster tree, it was the same as building a nest for themselves. Usually, they could cultivate on the tree. The entire tree was like a world. The branches could connect to many dimensions and absorb energy from within. Then, according to the monster's will, it would form all sorts of treasures and pills. This was the extreme of the monster Tao and it was similar to the Tao of nature. After the seven-colored demon vine swallowed the 9 transformation Nether Armor Great Demon, it became even stronger. The demon vine was like lightning and it actually brought with it a crackling lightning glow. Its speed at least doubled. With just a flash, it pierced through a few demons who cultivated Sciention earth energy and pulled them in. The seven-colored demon vine was originally unable to kill these demons, but now it was extremely easy. At this moment in Gu Chencha's fief, Zhuge Ye Lu Bai We Jin Suebua, Vermilion Bird, Black Tortoise the Fourth, and even Long Zaifei Lu Huayue, the green and white snakes, and Lu Yu gathered together. They each injected their Sciention earth energy into the life's wish sphere. As they painstakingly refined this treasure, it also made their primordial spirit and earth energy purer. Their acupoints, sea of consciousness, sea of chi, and meridians tougher, stronger, and more capacity. The life's wish sphere had fused with the Book of Heavenly Demons, the Buzhou Palace, the Dragon's Gate, the power of the 3 sages, and the wonders of the Death Exemption Talisman. It was already a magic treasure that could suppress one's destiny. All the core experts of the Calmness Immortal Department would often gather together to refine this treasure and gain valuable cultivation experience. Once the life's wish sphere was refined, the Calmness Immortal Department wouldn't have to fear the covetous eyes of many old fogies. At this time, Zhuge Ye was becoming more and more unfathomable. His majestic aura suppressed the 5 lakes, 4 seas, and 8 desolate. He had already been the true lord of 7 stars for 2 to 3 months, but his foundation was already very solid. With his talent and the resources of the Calmness Immortal Department, his cultivation speed was faster than the sun and the moon. In the deepest state of meditation, Zhuge Ye woke up. With a flick of his finger, a speck of starlight appeared in front of him, then spread out and turned into a mirror. In the mirror, the scene of the 3,000-kilometer bottomless sea of sin appeared, vivid in his mind. Zhuge Ye saw Gu Chunsha cultivating the tree of heaven monster, constantly killing demons, and secretly refining the immortal slaying god-punishing gourd. Chapter 3:15. Trying to fool me, the Lord of Seven Stars? That's child's play, said Zhuge Ye with a cold smile. Sir Zhuge, what's going on? Asked Lu Baiwe, immediately sensing his psychic fluctuations. Could it be that someone is plotting against Chunshao? That should be the case. Zhuge Ye's cold smile faded, replaced with a solemn expression. I just did some calculations. The ones plotting against your highness are most likely Wu Dangkong and the second prince, Gu Xiansha. Second bro? The fourth, Gu Huasha, stared blankly for a moment, then calmed down. Second bro has secretly returned. I knew about that a long time ago, but as soon as he returned, he joined forces with Wu Dangkong to deal with the Celestial Calmness Department. That's a bit surprising. Doesn't he know that the Celestial Calmness Department is extremely powerful now? Large numbers of people have submitted to us. In the past 2 or 3 months, our taxes have tripled. The fourth wasn't wrong. The news that Zhuge Ye had submitted to the Celestial Calmness Department as the Lord of Seven Stars had already spread throughout the Immortal Tao. Many people within the 72 profound gates of the Immortal Tao were shocked. The Lord of Seven Stars was an ancient legend. She possessed the wisdom of heaven and earth, the power of heaven and earth, and the ability to subvert the natural order of things. In time, the Lord of Seven Stars would become a saint. If even the 72 profound gates of the Immortal Tao were shocked, then there was no need to even mention the second and third-rate sections. In recent days, many sects that had previously refused to submit to the Celestial Calmness Department came knocking, expressing their willingness to pay taxes and ask for protection. Jin Suebua was in charge of this matter. He was extremely powerful to begin with, and now that he had become the Lord of 5 Stars, he was practically a born saint. His cultivation base had advanced by leaps and bounds, and he was able to turn the tides among the second and third-rate profound gates of the Immortal Tao. During this time, the Celestial Calmness Department's power had snowballed. Originally, there had been 300 or 400 second and third-rate sects pledging allegiance. Now, there were roughly 1,000. Of course, Jin Suebua's contributions couldn't go unnoticed. He had maneuvered about, roped in, and suppressed them. In just a few months, he had created this explosive situation. Of course, the various taxes collected from the Calming Immortal Department's treasury were also constantly increasing. Fortunately, the Immortal Tao sects that paid taxes to the Calming Immortal Department wouldn't suffer any losses. This was because they could purchase many relatively practical magic treasures from the Calming Immortal Department, such as the heaven-mending battle armor and all sorts of pills. Gu Chencha's fief had been transformed by the auras of Zhuge Ye, the vermilion bird, the black tortoise, and the others. Then, it was suppressed by the sphere of the common people's wish. Its operation had already surpassed the mystic realms of many Immortal Tao sections. Even though he had yet to truly master the life's wish sphere, its original ability to forge artifacts was still there. Furthermore, as the fusion process grew stronger, as long as he had the materials, he would be able to forge artifacts and pills of excellent quality at will. Like this, those Immortal Tao sects also felt that there were great benefits, and they were even more willing to submit to the Calm Immortal Department, creating a virtuous cycle. Be it the vermilion bird, the black tortoise, Zhuge Ye, or Jin Suebua, they were all top-notch experts. Coupled with the life's wish sphere, which was formed by the Book of Heavenly Demon, Buzhou Palace, and Dragon's Gate, the refinement of magic treasures was like the surging tide. Overall, if the Calming Immortal Department's strength continued to grow, it would probably become a true powerhouse in 3 to 5 years. At that time, it wouldn't be strange for it to subdue the weaker Immortal Tao sects of the 72 Immortal Tao sections. The 72 Immortal Tao sects weren't monolithic. They fought among themselves, and some even had deep enmity. For example, the Black Heaven-Earth sect and the Black Cosmos sect both wanted to destroy the other's orthodoxies. These conflicts could also be used. In fact, Jean Suebwa had already decided on some plans. It was to sow discord among the immortal Tao sects, and the coming immortal department would reap the benefits. He had always been carrying out this plan. Countless materials from the immortal Tao were selected by Jean Suebwa and integrated into the Life's Wish sphere. The Life's Wish sphere was becoming more and more mysterious. It contained many secret techniques, and Zhuge Ye was able to innovate. In terms of aptitude, even many ancient demon race sages were inferior to him. Chernsha is using the blood and souls of those monsters to refine the most mysterious heavenly demon tree in the Book of Heavenly Demon. This method is good, and those monsters are very useful. To refine the heavenly demon tree as quickly as possible, the fastest cultivation method is to kill living beings and absorb their souls and blood. Lu Baiyue saw it clearly. If this tree is refined, it will be enough to suppress the seals of the bottomless sea of sin. No matter how many monsters come, they will be killed, and they will become resources. Those trees will bear all kinds of armors, weapons, pills, magic treasures, and fruits. At that time, our coming immortal department will have another production base. This is His Highness's plan. Zhuge Ye clicked his tongue in admiration. His Highness also seems to feel that someone is plotting against him, so he would rather the seven-colored demonic vine grow slowly to condense the immortal slaying god punishing gourd from the tree. This treasure needs many days to brew, and once released, it will be extremely powerful. Even an immortal body will be injured. We have to be prepared at all times. The fourth brother, Guasha, said, logically speaking, the common people's wish sphere has the ability to break through the void and traverse various dimensions. It's a pity that we can't activate it. Otherwise, we could directly transmit its power and cover the bottomless sea of sin for 3,000 miles. No matter what kind of monsters there are, we could absorb them all and directly refine the heavenly demon tree. We don't have this ability yet. Zhuge Ye frowned. The biggest obstacle to merging the three treasures is the core of the heavenly demon book. Gaochun's will, Ant Hugu, and a few primordial beast souls are gathered together. If they aren't at the core, I should be able to find a way to merge them quickly. There is nothing we can do about it. Although we have an agreement with Gaochun and Ant Hugu, that is all. Actually, no one trusts each other. Jean Suebwa's eyes flashed. However, they can't do anything to us, and we can't do anything to them. Luckily, we can increase our strength. As the Life's Wish sphere becomes more and more unified, they won't be able to do much. It is only a matter of time before we suppress them. Zhuge Ye had absolute confidence. Now I have an idea. The higher-ups of the Calm Celestial Department gathered together to discuss. Pung. At the edge of the bottomless sea of sin, Gu Chencha's Xiantian astral energy shield shrunk once more, and its power became more concentrated. Shimin Zhua and Shimin Yu's bodies gave off an explosive sound. That was a change in their consciousnesses. During the intense battle, they actually broke through to Tao Realm Transformation 10,000 ways at one heart. The two brothers were geniuses, and Gu Chernsha taught them the Sky Monster secret technique. They were also given large amounts of seven-colored essence fruit. While consuming them to replenish their Xiantian astral energy, they also expanded their meridians and sea of energy. They also strengthened the mental energy in their consciousnesses, allowing them to comprehend and break through. After the two brothers broke through, they became stronger and stronger. They flashed like lightning, and under the protection of Gu Chencha's Xiantian astral energy shield, they killed their way in and out and captured many strong monsters. Honglong. Suddenly, a pitch-black beam of light that was as thick as a water bucket and thousands of feet long smashed onto Gu Chencha's innate energy barrier. The moment the seven-colored demon vines touched the black light, they melted right away. Zhi. The seven-colored demon vine's main body gave out a painful cry like it was alive. The seven-colored demon vine had a mind of its own, and when its tentacles were sliced off, it would feel pain. Be careful, this is a demon that is around the 14th transformation of Tao realm. Gu Chernsha opened his eyes and looked outside. As expected, among the densely packed monsters that swarmed over, one could see an expert wrapped in a black cloak. Other people might not be able to see through this monster, but Gu Chensha's sun-moon dragon eye saw through the black cloak. Within the cloak was a man with a human face and horns on his head. His skin was black and smooth like black jade, and his demonic energy was deep like an abyss. This was the nobility of the demon race. Among the monsters, those that looked like humans were nobles and had a really high status. Be it combat strength, sciention astral energy, or willpower, they were much stronger than normal monsters. This move is the annihilation wave of the infernal demon technique, recorded in the Maha suppression art. This technique uses sciention astral energy to melt everything. Anything that comes into contact with this light will instantly disintegrate and cease to exist. Gu Chernsha knew that the Shemin brothers were definitely not a match for this devil among the fiends. The seven-colored demonic vine would also be destroyed. In terms of realm, this monster was on the same level as him. But he wasn't shocked. Instead, he was delighted. The appearance of such a strong monster meant that he could push the seven-colored demon vine further. Common people capture. He sat under the seven-colored demon vine tree and suddenly waved his hand. Immediately, a large hand flew out of the astral energy barrier and grabbed at the 14 transformation devil monster. The demon's expression changed drastically. It repeatedly activated the annihilation wave to wash over the large hand, but to no avail. With a slight grab from the large hand, the annihilation wave was completely shattered, and a boundless aura enveloped the nobleman. Just as the nobility was about to fall into Gu Chensha's hand, demonic energy rose up from the depths of the demon grass. The devilish aura turned into countless runes. As the runes combined, they formed a 9-story devil tower. At the top of the devil tower, there seemed to be a huge force suppressing it. It flew over and was about to shatter Gu Chensha's hand. This is a Golden Dan Great Tao expert among the monsters. The Shemin brothers jumped in fright. Golden Dan Great Tao was already an overlord. If such a person appeared in the divine prefecture, they could create a 1,000-year-old family. So it really did appear? A smile appeared on Gu Chensha's face. In the instant that the 9-story demon tower appeared, 28 beams of divine light flew out from behind him. These 28 beams of divine light shone with the power of the stars. They resonated with the stars in the sky and carried with them a supreme aura. Whoosh! The 28 beams of divine light flew out. With a single brush, the nobility of the demon race fell into the tower. He was completely trapped, like a fly frozen in amber. Then, the divine light flashed again, and the 9-story demon pagoda also fell into it. An angry voice came from the demon pagoda. It was the 18 transformations demon controlling it, but this kind of demon was still no match for Gu Chernsha. Chapter 3:16. We will use a secret technique here, and use our souls to affect the demons to surge towards him. This is also to test his strength. Gu Xuansha's hands formed a circle and formed a weird seal. I thought that if we fought one-on-one, I would be able to capture and kill him in one move. Now, it seems like he still has a chance to escape. This person is really cunning. Wu Dongkong's tone was filled with hatred. We can't let our guard down. Luckily, the situation is still under our control. He absorbed the Tao Realm 14 transformation demon monster and the 18 transformation old demon. He will definitely refine them into the 7-colored demon vine. The vine will be even stronger and I will be able to use it. Once these two monsters are collected, even stronger demons will be alerted. The two of us need to be careful. If we face a demon above Tao Realm Transformation 20, it will be tough for us to escape. Gu Xianxia looked around and didn't dare to be careless. It is okay. Even if I face a demon saint, I will be fine. While Wu Dankong was speaking, Gu Xianxia was shocked. He only looked at the woman deeply and didn't say anything else. At this moment, Gu Qianxia circulated his mystic technique to suppress the two devils. He could easily suppress the demon emperor of the 14th transformation of the Tao realm, but if the dragon gate was still there, he could easily crush him. But now the dragon gate was gone, and he had to use 30% of his power to protect the upstanding Qi shield, and 50% of his power to guard against emergencies. He could only use 20% of his power to suppress the demon emperor of the 18th transformation of the Great Path, which was a bit too much for him to handle. But he had his own plan. 7-colored demon vine, absorb. Behind his back, 28 streaks of starlight turned into a ball and wrapped the two demons within. In just a moment, the Tao Realm 14 transformation demon noble was shattered and absorbed by the 7-colored vine. The 18 transformation Great Tao Demon Emperor turned his Xiantian energy into a pagoda and wrapped himself within. No matter how Gu Qianxia attacked, he couldn't do anything to it. This was the Heavenly Devil Pagoda recorded in the Maha Suppression scripture. Pagoda was the meaning of a pagoda. However, the Maha Suppression scripture that Gu Qianxia obtained from Yi Ming didn't have the cultivation method of the Sky Devil Pagoda. There was only a brief introduction. After mastering this Heavenly Devil Pagoda, one would be able to condense one's entire body's essence, energy, and spirit into a pagoda. It would be invincible when attacking and invincible when defending. This was a top-notch technique that was not inferior to the many mystic techniques in the Heaven Demon book. It was absolutely impossible for Gu Qianxia to break this pagoda with just 20 to 30% of his strength. So I can't do anything about it? He pointed at the yellow-skinned gourd condensed on the vine. At this moment, the gourd was frantically absorbing the blood essence and soul of the 14 transformation devil monster aristocrat through the vine. The 7-colored demonic vine was overflowing with colorful light, and it seemed to have become much stronger. The gourd even absorbed the noble's weapon. A boundless fiendish aura was brewing within it. Open! Kill! Gu Qianxia chanted 2 incantations and the yellow-skinned gourd suddenly opened. A white light shot out from within and formed a flying knife. This flying knife was just floating in the air. It was only the size of a thumb, but when the supreme killing energy spread out, the monsters outside instinctively shivered. Some of them actually screamed and started to flee. Poochie! The flying knife suddenly flashed like it had teleported and slashed onto the Sky Devil Pagoda. The Sky Devil Pagoda, formed by the 18 transformation Tao Realm Golden Core Great Tao Demon Emperor, was sliced open in an instant. The Demon Emperor didn't even have time to scream before he was wiped out. All the essence blood was absorbed. The Sky Devil Pagoda turned into runes and merged into the 7-colored demonic vine. At that moment, the 7-colored demonic vine's color actually dimmed and was replaced by a dark gold color. This was the feeling of it evolving into the touch of the ghost god. Blood-sucking demon vine, 7-colored demonic vine, touch of the ghost god, and heaven demon tree. Each of these 4 stages of evolution would increase its strength by dozens of times. Gu Qianxia spent a full 2 to 3 months to evolve the blood-sucking demon vine into the 7-colored demonic vine. He absorbed hundreds of thousands of monsters, and along with his own sun and moon dragon handle, he finally succeeded. As the 7-colored demonic vine got stronger and stronger, the monsters it absorbed would get stronger and stronger, and its evolution speed would get faster and faster. Moreover, the 7-colored demonic vine that Gu Qianxia refined was of a higher quality than any expert refined because he had the sun and moon dragon handle. However, it was still too early for the seven-colored demonic vine to evolve into the touch of the ghost god. Right now, it just had the characteristics of the touch of the ghost god. This immortal slaying god slaying flying knife is actually so strong. Gu Chunsha activated the flying knife, and with a flash, it destroyed an 18 transformation Jindan Devil Emperor. He was secretly delighted. But after activating the flying knife, he could only activate it again in 7 days. This was because the flying knife hadn't been completely condensed. It was just an embryonic form. He needed to constantly absorb the essence, blood, and souls of fiends to refine it and nurture it to become more ferocious. Condense. Gu Chunsha sensed the surging power within the seven-colored demonic vine, so he once again used the heaven demon's secret art. Immediately, 7 fruits condensed on the demonic vine. Each fruit was as tall as a person and was blood-red like a placenta. Some of the essence, blood, and souls that the demonic vine couldn't absorb before were converted and sent into the placenta. 2 hours later, the placenta ruptured, revealing 7 young girls with sharp eyes and sharp claws. They leaped down from the trees, astral energy surging out of them as they charged to the edge of the shield and began to slaughter the devil beasts. The tree can actually bear people. The Sheeman brothers were currently recovering after consuming the 7-colored origin fruit. They felt that their cultivation had advanced once again, and when they saw this scene, they were greatly shocked. This is a heart-stealing demon charm, a puppet formed by the heaven demon tree. It is the best at fighting and also has a strong charm ability. Gu Chunsha said, the demonic 7-colored vine has absorbed a lot of blood and souls. It's enough for it to evolve. Why don't you use the extra energy to make the tree produce these demonic spirits to help you in battle? The heavenly demon tree's mysteries aren't limited to this. In a few months, I can use this tree to create good treasures for you. Gu Chunsha's cultivation became purer and purer. During the process of forming the heaven demon tree, he started to understand some of the structure of the Hongmeng tree. As he deduced, his body evolved once more. If someone used their essence soul to look at him, they would notice that his meridians were different from humans. They were similar to the roots of a tree and were really mysterious. During these few months of cultivation, it wasn't that Gu Chunsha didn't improve. In fact, he improved a lot. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to use 20 to 30% of his strength to use 28 streaks of starlight to suppress the 18 transformation Tao Realm Golden Core Realm Demon Emperor. Even if he was still at the 14 transformation, his combat strength was 2 months ago. His body was just too strong. As he deduced, he merged the two techniques once more. He used the structure of the Hongmeng tree to change his body and even his brain and consciousness. He wanted to personally refine the heaven demon tree to understand the changes of the Hongmeng tree. Pung pung pung. The 7-headed demon charms charged into the group of monsters. Along with the 7-colored demonic vines, they caused a storm of blood. Thousands more devil beasts were instantly killed. After absorbing the 14th and 18th transformation devil beasts, the power and profoundness of the rainbow vine had increased by several times. Killing the devil beasts was as easy as cutting melons and vegetables. However, there was no end to these monsters. No matter how many they killed, they still swarmed over. Their numbers didn't decrease in the slightest. Moreover, some low-level monsters no longer appeared. Instead, the number of monsters with innate stellar energy gradually increased. Gu Chunsha was also shocked. He propped up his stellar energy shield and looked at the never-ending monsters outside. He knew that if he hadn't refined the heavenly demon tree, which could condense 7-colored origin fruits to replenish his stellar energy and nourish his nascent soul, he would have long since abandoned his setup and fled. If it was just these demons, he would not be afraid no matter how many came. The key was that he could feel that there were several extremely powerful and evil wills staring at him from the depths of the demonic plant. That feeling was far beyond that of a golden Dan of the Great Path Cultivator at the 18 changes of the Tao realm. It might even have reached the 20 changes of the Great Path. He might not even be able to defeat such demons one-on-one, let alone several of them. Fortunately, these evil and powerful demons were afraid of him and didn't dare to show themselves. The demons seemed to have deep intelligence. They knew that this was the great Yonko's territory. The name of the heavenly talisman Great Emperor had already spread to various dimensions. Many of the alternate worlds where the demons lived were terrified. One had to know that even God Maha, who led many hell dimensions, had been suppressed. The demons of hell must have more or less known many things. Demon emperors who could reach 18 transformation, Tao realm and above would definitely be able to sense all sorts of changes in the world. Gu Chensha took advantage of the apprehension of these peerless demons to gain space to grow and attract their firepower. If he hadn't been killing monsters here for the past 3 months, many of them would have flown out to wreak havoc in the world. Marquis Calming Sea might not have been able to do better than him. As long as I can buy time, give me another 3 months, and I will be able to cultivate the 7-colored demon vine to the touch of the demon and god. At that time, I will have a 70 to 80% chance of suppressing the monsters. More importantly, in these 3 months, my cultivation can rise to an unbelievable level. Gu Chensha had been suppressing his cultivation level for the past few days. This was his trump card. Actually, if he had advanced, he could have stepped into the 15 transformation heavenly eye suspending realm in a month. But he hadn't stepped into it. He used a secret technique to suppress it. When it exploded, it would be earth-shattering. The secret techniques he learned were all of the highest level in the world. Many of them could suppress one's cultivation level until it reached a critical point and exploded, dealing a fatal blow to the enemy. For example, the Sun and Moon transformation of the Son of Heaven's God sealing art, and some secret techniques of the great God slaughtering art. If he had another 3 months, his accumulation would reach the peak. Then, he could learn from Zhuge Ye and directly increase a few levels. Chapter 317. Pre-Celestial Tao, Yin-Yang Ghost Transformation, Demonic Secret, Soul Vortex. Gu Chensha suddenly stood up and punched out. Xiantian astral energy suddenly flew out, turning into a huge whirlpool that swept up all the devil beasts dozens of kilometers away. This move was the soul vortex of the sky monster mystic art. When it was activated, it could suck away thousands of souls. Gu Chensha even used his draconic breath to suck people over. Thousands of monsters were sucked into the ground. Kacha Kacha, the astral energy turned into a giant millstone, grinding them to pieces. This was the Sun-Moon Millstone. After grinding the monsters, it would be easier for the 7-colored demonic vine to absorb them. The 7-colored demonic vine had now turned into a dark gold demonic vine. There were many ghostly auras faintly appearing on it, just like a kingdom of demons. This was the sign of evolving into the touch of the demon and god. The devil beasts here were the best tonic. With tonics and experts, one's cultivation speed would be very fast. Condense. Gu Chensha pointed again, and another fruit appeared on the tree. The fruit split open, and extremely handsome men appeared. There were also 7 of them, and they were a perfect match for the heart-stealing demon. This was also a puppet, and it was called the heart-devouring demon centipede. The so-called demons and monsters were extremely powerful existences in the demon race. He could even condense the heavenly demon tree. The heart-devouring demon centipede, heart-seizing demon succubus, heart-rending demon centipede, and heart-destroying demon centipede were puppets with great destructive power recorded in the sky demon secret art. Gu Chensha first refined 7 heart-stealing demons, then 7 heart-devouring demons. This way, when the demons worked together, their lethality would more than double. The moment this demon was born, it had the strength of someone at Tao Realm Transformation 9. Of course, this was also because there were simply too many souls and blood essences here. There was no end to the devil monsters, and there was no end to them. He could squander them as he pleased. Under normal circumstances, Gu Chensha might not even be able to produce one in a few years. 7 heart-devouring demon hunters and heart-stealing enchantresses were born, and they worked together to attack. He immediately began harvesting the devil monsters as if they were grass. Just like that, Gu Chensha responded to the myriad of changes by remaining unchanging. He killed fiends and monsters, absorbed their souls and blood essence, strengthened the 7-colored demonic vine, and transformed his own body. In the blink of an eye, another month had passed. The 7-colored demonic vine had completely turned into a dark gold color. With a slight shake, there seemed to be the wailing of ghosts and gods. At this moment, the gourd above the 7-colored demonic vine was emitting a murderous aura, and under the demonic vine, 28 demons and monsters had been born. These were puppets, and each one was equivalent to a Tao Realm Transformation 9 expert. 4 of them could form a formation. 7 of them could be used to set up a formation, and 28 of them could be used to set up an even larger formation. Of course, these demons and monsters were far inferior to the common life divine general. However, with the advancement of the 7-colored demonic vine, they could eventually transform into the 28 demon god stellar monarchs. After the heaven monster tree was refined, its strongest protector would be the 28 demon god stellar monarch puppets. The tree absorbed the power of the stars and all sorts of souls to form the hornwood serpent, Kong gold dragon, D-earth raccoon, Room sun rabbit, heart moon fox, tail fire tiger, water leopard. This meant that the 28 demons and monsters were just the embryonic forms of the 28 demon god stellar monarchs. Hornwood serpent, Kong gold dragon, D-earth raccoon, Room sun rabbit, heart moon fox, tail fire tiger, water leopard. Each of these demon god stellar monarchs could suppress heaven and earth. They were the true essence of the heaven monster tree. When Gu Chensha mastered the 28 Qi, Mei, Wang, and Liang, he had more or less comprehended the mysteries of the 28 constellation Fei gods. If the heaven monster tree was refined, after a long period of time, the 28 demon god stellar monarchs would form on the tree. It would be like the gathering of 28 gods into the green dragon, white tiger, vermilion bird, and black tortoise. This tree would be perfect, and it would be more than enough to suppress a world. However, in ancient times, many demon race sages weren't able to cultivate the heaven monster tree to its peak. Even monster saints weren't able to do so. Even if Gu Chensha's cultivation was dozens of times stronger, he wouldn't be able to cultivate it. If he did, then he would be able to suppress this demon region with just a flip of his palm. That is weird. Another month has passed and no strong monsters have appeared? The two brothers had just killed a few Tao Realms 7 and 8 transformation demons and sat down to consume the 7-colored essence fruit to recover. They started to discuss, the 14 and 18 demon emperors from last time haven't appeared. Are they afraid? No, the monsters are observing my movements. Gu Chensha said, I can't let my guard down. I feel like there are at least 3 of them above 20 Tao Realm transformations. If they attack me, I might not be able to block them. If Gu Chensha had Dragon Gate, he could deal with 20 transformation demons. Now that he was relying on his own cultivation, it would be tough for him to cross so many realms and kill them. The key was that there wasn't just one. He used the celestial slaying god slaying flying knife to destroy the 18 transformation demon emperor's heaven demon pagoda, but it wasn't so useful against 19 and 20 transformation demons. At 19 transformation, one's body could change. If it shrunk to dust, then it wouldn't be easy to kill. At 20 transformation, one would gather and scatter. When it scattered, it would form energy. When it gathered, it would form. Of course, if the celestial slaying god slaying flying knife formed, it would be able to slash everything. If it faced space, it would slash space. If it faced worlds, it would slash worlds. If it faced celestials, it would slash celestials. What Gu Qinsha crafted now was less than 1/10,000 of its true strength. Fortunately, during this month, he didn't know how many monsters he had killed, and the flying knife gourd had become a lot more tyrannical. The quality of the 7-colored essence fruit that formed on the tree was much better too. Actually, this tree could form all sorts of things, but Gu Qinsha only formed the 7-colored essence fruit, evil demon King Liang, and celestial slaying god slaying flying knife gourd. His current goal was to evolve this tree into the touch of ghost god. This tree was the most difficult Dharma treasure to refine according to the Book of Heaven Demon. Gu Qinsha naturally had some insights on how to refine it after studying it for several months. As this tree advanced, Gu Qinsha's body would gradually improve. The 28 evil demon King Liang puppets formed a huge array and connected with each other. They constantly captured demons and fed them to the 7-colored demonic vine. Their cultivation levels became sharper, and there seemed to be some runes on their bodies that were about to condense into some Dharma treasure. Come back! Seeing that the evil demon King Liang had left the range of his stellar energy barrier, Gu Qinsha immediately called them back. The 28 evil demon King Liang gathered and returned to their respective trees. They were once again enveloped by the membrane fetus and squirmed within. To these 28 evil demon King Liang, the 7-colored demonic vine was their mother. After returning from battle, they still connected their bodies to their mother's body. Weapons! Gu Qinsha activated it again and condensed another 28 different weapons on the tree. They were sabers, spears, swords, halberds, hatchets, hooks, tridents, hammers, ropes, shields. These were the weapons of the 28 monster gods and Star Lord. Gu Qinsha had the rainbow flower vines condense them and then equipped the Qi, Mei, Wang, and Liang puppets to increase their combat power. The evil demon King Liang were all Dao Realm 9 transformation experts. With the 28 of them gathered together and formed a formation, along with the weapons that were related to them, their killing strength increased once more. Anything could be formed from the tree. A full 7 days passed and the 28 evil demon King Liang appeared once more. Each of them had a weapon in their hands and each of them was different. These weapons are so strong. The two brothers looked on with envy. Don't be anxious. I will form stronger weapons for the two of you. Gu Qinsha's hands formed a circle and shot out many runes. Under his control, the heavenly demon tree once again condensed 2 fruits the size of a human head. These fruits looked like flesh and blood, and there seemed to be the sound of blood flowing in the blood vessels. The two brothers could see that there were really 2 weapons being formed in the fruit. One was a golden spear and the other was a halberd. I have formed 2 weapons based on your fighting technique. One is the ancient golden crow's weapon, the great sun golden spear. The other is the weapon that the ancient golden winged rock race uses, the 8 desolation god halberd. If these 2 weapons are formed, they will be really strong and can increase your killing strength by several times. But you will need a long time to gather them and won't be able to train them in a short time. Gu Qinsha made these weapons for the 2 brothers to test the 7-colored demonic vine's ability to refine treasures. Thank you, King. These days, the 2 Shiman brothers had followed Gu Qinsha on expeditions and slaughtered, and they had benefited greatly. They were already wholeheartedly convinced of Gu Qinsha's superiority, and they prostrated themselves before him. Moreover, they had made a firm resolution that the Shiman clan must submit to the calming immortal department. The 2 brothers were Dao Realm Transformation 9 experts and had a really high status in the Shiman family. They had the right to decide many things. Moreover, they had reached Dao Realm Transformation 10 and could do many things at once. While they were speaking, all the demons outside disappeared like a receding tide. It was like they were affected by some power and didn't attack or send themselves to die. This reduced the pressure on Gu Chensha, and a look of shock appeared on his face. Prepare yourselves. Don't leave the range of the seven-colored demonic vine. Something huge is going to happen. The experts of the demon race are about to appear. The two brothers' hearts clenched. During these few days they had a good time killing demons. Now that the demons had retreated, it felt really uncomfortable. When a demonic energy rose up from the distance. It was as thick as a beacon. The demonic energy arrived not far from the seven-colored demonic vine and landed. It slowly condensed into a human shape. This person was wearing black clothes and was a handsome man. He had a smile on his face and his hands were behind his back. When he looked over, it made one feel dizzy and like one's soul was about to fall into a whirlpool. Heaven demon tree, not bad, not bad. You want to refine this tree to suppress the sea of sin? This demon was exactly the same as a human and one couldn't see any signs of a demon at all. Chapter 3:18 Gu Chensha had activated his protective astral energy to envelop an area of several kilometers, preventing any fiend monsters from taking even half a step forward. This was because he was afraid that some powerful fiend monsters would harm the seven-colored demon vine. After so many days of preparation, the seven-colored demon vine's combat strength was around that of a Tao Realm Transformation 13 expert. Although it was strong, its weakness was that it couldn't move. If there were too many of them, the vine wouldn't be able to handle it. Although the vine could automatically kill monsters and absorb their essence blood, without Gu Chensha's help, its digestion ability was limited. Apart from that, it couldn't digest souls. Everyone knew that to be able to swallow souls, one had to reach the Tao Realm Transformation 13. The reason why the blood-sucking demon vine could absorb souls right from the start was because of Gu Chensha's usage. Now that the monsters retreated, he didn't use the energy barrier. He was concentrating his strength to deal with this Tao Realm Transformation 20 demon. The wider the range of the energy barrier, the weaker it was. If Gu Chensha shrunk it to a few miles, even Golden Core Tao experts wouldn't be able to break it. But if it covered dozens of miles, then even Tao Realm Transformation 14 or 15 experts could break it. If it was a few hundred miles, then even the 9 Transformation Glass Body could break it. As for a few thousand miles, he didn't have that ability yet. Even if his energy ocean and consciousness ocean expanded and his cultivation improved, there was a limit. Unless he could break through the limits of celestial being and become an anomaly like the sect leader Chang Wei-yang. Demon, what do you want? Gu Chensha used mental energy to communicate. The demon language was really lacking and wasn't as bright as human civilization. Naturally, humans wouldn't learn that demon language and experts communicated with each other mentally. How many demons have you killed? I will kill all of you humans and return it. The demon's mental energy was really calm, but Gu Chensha's heart shuddered when he heard it. He had killed at least 10 million demons over the past 4 months. If the demon killed 10 million civilians, then he would be able to do it. But even if he didn't kill them, if they charged out, they would kill civilians. There was no compromise between the two sides. Souls were extremely valuable to gods, and it was the same for freak. This was a conflict between two races. Either the humans exterminated the devil beasts and became stronger, or the devil beasts treated the humans as food. Many of your devil race's evil gods have also been sealed. What other ability do you have to fight against us? Gu Chensha seized his will. The new god has been born. If we kill you humans as a sacrifice, we will also receive a gift. This demon moved very elegantly. There was no demonic energy around him, but his nature was extremely evil. You are a powerful sacrifice. What? A new god has been born? Gu Chensha was extremely shocked. Without the heavenly talisman, how can there be a god? That's just a fake god without a god seat. Could it be that the experts among the demons knew about the birth of the heavenly talisman and came to attack the humans, threatening the human emperor to confer the title of god on him? In the antiquity time there was such an example. Demons from hell invaded the divine great land, and the two sides fought fiercely. Later on, they reached an agreement. Ancient Emperor of Heaven conferred the title of God to the strongest of the demon clan. Then, the demon clan retreated and didn't invade the human race for many years. That was how many evil gods came about. Humans couldn't exterminate the devil race at all. There were too many of them. Every many years, the heavenly Tao would change and invade the human world. The historical records were even more bloody than the barbarians. Since ancient times, the people in the godly land had suffered many disasters. The barbarians invaded, the devil disaster broke out, the evildoers ran amok, and the civil strife was endless. In fact, the barbarians were also related to the devil race. Many of the evil gods that the barbarians believed in were also the gods of the devil race. As soon as the heavenly talisman emperor ascended the throne, he first cut thousands of mountains and filled the sea of sin, blocking the passage of the devil race to the godly land. Then he began to pacify the barbarians. As long as these two external problems were solved, humans could have a breathing space. With the current development speed of the Great Yonko, after a few hundred years, there would be Tao realm experts everywhere. Everyone would be wise, and it would be just a matter of time to eliminate the devil race and the barbarians. Since Heavenly Talisman Heavenly Monarch ascended to the throne, 19 years had passed, close to 20 years. The population of the divine continent had multiplied by several times, and the quality of the population had also risen to a terrifying level. Martial arts masters and Tao realm experts had appeared like bamboo shoots after the rain. Gu Chencha's Department of Tranquility was doing statistics. Being familiar with history, Gu Chencha most regretted the era of the Emperor Wu thousands of years ago. At that time, the Emperor Wu had great talent and strategy. His cultivation was also so great that he could kill God. At that time, he unified the world and oppressed the barbarians. He built the Dragonization Tower to increase the wisdom of the people. The world was also prosperous and orderly. Unfortunately, the good times didn't last long. Because he was too strong, the natural law changed. The immortals wanted to overthrow the regime and sent many agents to rebel. The monster race and the barbarians also launched a big counterattack. What was more terrible was the appearance of the devil race in the bottomless sea of sin. Under these three troubles, the dynasty collapsed in an instant, and the people were in misery. Now was very similar to the past. The heavenly talisman emperor was in isolation, Wu Dangkong was scourging the world, the aristocratic families were making wishful thinking, the barbarians and the monsters were preparing a big counterattack, the devil race began to gather an army, and the immortals wanted to disturb the court. Once the situation collapsed, the people would immediately be in a terrible dark age. Since you killed so many of our soldiers, if I let you escape this time, how will I have the face to command the army? The monster walked slowly and actually walked into the attack range of the seven-colored demonic vine. It stopped 2 or 3 miles away from Guchensha. He stared at the gourd condensed on the seven-colored demonic vine. That was the immortal slaying flying knife. He was a little afraid of this thing. This thing hadn't really taken shape and its power wasn't great, but it could still seriously injure him. He had to have some scruples. Then come. A sneer appeared on Guchencha's face. Even if you can defeat me today, I'm afraid you won't get any benefits. I know that you are not the only expert here. If you are injured, I'm afraid your companion will devour you or refine you into a puppet to increase his strength. The devil race killed each other and didn't recognize family. Although the weak obeyed the strong and there was a simple order, there was no trust to speak of. For example, they would devour their companions without hesitation. As expected, there was some fear on the monster's face, but there was also some greed. Gu Chensha knew what the demon was thinking. Although the demon was afraid of being taken advantage of, it also wanted to kill Gu Chensha and obtain the seven-colored demonic vine. If the demon caught him and devoured him, it could obtain his memories and the seven-colored demonic vine to refine itself into a heavenly demon tree. Maybe he could become a devil god in the future. This was also a gamble. The demon was already an expert of the impermanence gathering and dispersing realm, so it could naturally see the mysteries of Gu Chensha and calculate the benefits of devouring him. As expected, the experts of the devil race can't take it anymore. In the distance, Gu Xiansha and Wu Dangkong saw this. They looked at each other with anticipation. Wu Dangkong flicked his fingers and calculated. Even I can't help but want to capture Gu Chensha, take his memories, refine his cultivation, and obtain the seven-colored demonic vine. As she spoke, her body moved slightly. Suddenly, many pitch-black lights flew out. They traveled through the demonic herbs that were 7 or 8 people tall. God knew how many monsters they killed. Then the pitch-black lights turned blood-red and flew into her body, disappearing in the blink of an eye. This secret technique of yours is a bit mysterious. With one move, you can absorb the souls and essence blood of monsters. It's even more terrifying than Gu Chensha's seven-colored demonic vine. You've secretly killed many monsters these days and collected a lot of their souls and essence blood, right? Gu Xiansha watched Wu Dongkong's every move. This secret technique is our Wu family's spirit martial soul-breaking technique. It specializes in killing monsters. Wu Dangkong knew that she had exposed many secrets in front of Gu Xiansha, but she didn't care at all. With the protection of Gu Xiansha here, she could absorb the monster's essence blood and souls without worry. At this moment, she closed her eyes and looked inwardly. Deep within her sea of consciousness, she saw a huge space. That was the Sun-Moon sacrificial altar. Within the space of the altar floated large amounts of blood. At a glance, it was like a world of blood rain. Every drop of blood rain contained a soul. While Wu Dangkong was observing the changes, she didn't stay idle. She killed many monsters and collected their souls and essence blood, preparing for a great sacrifice. Gu Xiansha has a lot of trump cards, but my trump card is even bigger. Gu Chensha killed the monsters and turned them into the heavenly demon tree. I'll collect the souls and essence blood for the sacrifice. I have 3 million souls in the Sun-Moon altar now. Last time, more than 300,000 souls were sacrificed for the heavenly Tao divine light. This time, I'll prepare 3,600,000 souls for the sacrifice. Wudong Kong chuckled coldly. When the time comes, I'll borrow the power of the Tao of Heaven to create a true dimension in my sea of energy and consciousness. That way, I'll be able to store magical power and nascent divinity much more efficiently than I am now. My battle prowess will be 10 times stronger. Only when one reached the 30th transformation of the Tao realm and opened up a grotto heaven could they open up a real space in the void, which was the so-called God country. As for refining magical treasures like interspatial rings and bracelets, they could only be refined at the 30th transformation. This was why people who opened up a grotto heaven at the 30th transformation of the Tao realm were similar to God. As long as they were conferred a title by the emperor, they would be true gods. People at the 30th transformation of the Tao realm were similar to gods, but their lifespans weren't as long as those who had been conferred a title. Wu Dangkong used the sacrifice to use the power of the heavenly Tao to turn her energy sea and consciousness sea into 2 grotto heaven spaces that she could control. That way, her energy sea and consciousness sea would be stronger, and the power of the soul and Xiantian earth energy they could store would increase by 100 times. Not to mention an existence of the same level, even an existence that surpassed her by a few levels would be easily killed by her. However, it was extremely difficult to collect 3,600,000 souls and essence blood. Luckily, the appearance of the monsters gave her a chance to get rich. This was also the reason why the monster army couldn't wipe out the humans. With the Heaven Sacrifice Talisman, the monsters were a great supplement for the ancient emperor. Chapter 319. Kill. At that moment, Gu Chunxia started to attack the Dao Realm Transformation 20 demon. He knew that he couldn't continue like this. He had to break the situation and find a chance. He was now at the 14th transformation, and compared to the 20th transformation, the difference was just too huge. When he was at the 6th transformation, he could kill the 14th transformation Lightning Beast King. At that time, he had the Dragon Gate and even the Heaven Sacrifice Talisman. He could hide within and launch sneak attack. He was invincible. But now, he had no treasures at all. Based on his current combat strength, he could fight on the same level as the 19th transformation, but he only had a 10% chance against the 20th transformation. He might even lose, and it would be tough for him to even escape. This was why he had to attack first to seize the chance. When Gu Chunxia attacked, a streak of starlight flew out. The starlight was a talisman that was as small as sand. They turned into ancient beasts that roared and chased the Dao Realm Transformation 20 demon. Star Sand 10,000 Lightning Transformation. When the demon saw Gu Chenchia's attack, it was actually a little afraid. The star sand that Gu Chunxia shot out was actually a small bolt of lightning. Once it was hit, it would explode and scatter the essence energy. With Gu Chenchia's current cultivation, even 1 grain of star sand would be able to blast iron armor into dust. The power of a large patch of star sand could even flatten a mountain. Although Dao Realm Transformation 20 experts had reached the Gather and Scatter realm and normal attacks couldn't do anything to them, they still had to worry about it. If it was a fierce lightning technique, 1 strike would scatter their essence energy and they would be injured. The demon wasn't willing to be injured at all. It wanted to be at its peak condition to capture and refine Gu Chunxia. Only then would it be able to obtain the most benefits and not let others take advantage of it. So, the demon's body suddenly disappeared, causing Gu Chenchia's starlight to miss. Gu Chunxia sensed a huge sense of danger heading towards him. He didn't even think, and his body flashed to the side. The demon appeared at the spot where he was gathered and punched the air. If he was hit by that power, Gu Chunxia would definitely be smashed to pieces. Great formation. After dodging this demon's sure kill attack, Gu Chunxia knew that if he didn't trap this demon, he would be in grave danger. In terms of speed and movement techniques, it was impossible for him to contend with this demon. Fortunately, he had been cultivating here for more than 4 months and had already set up many things. As his body flickered, starlight suddenly erupted from the ground, forming a grand array. The star power of the formation surged and spun. Numerous star whirlpools formed and wrapped the Dao Realm Transformation 20 demon within. After reaching the size manipulation realm of the 19th transformation, one's body could expand or shrink at will, and their attacks were extremely terrifying. It was not something that an expert of the Jindan Great Path could compare with. After attaining size manipulation, there were no longer any restraints on one's physical body. Putting aside the myriad of means one could utilize in battle, one could even gather one's strength together, granting it immense destructive and penetrative power. And at the 20th transformation, it was even more tyrannical. It had more combat techniques, and it was almost impossible to be killed. Gu Chunxia had long studied the battle of such experts and had calculated it thousands of times in his mind. Thus, he had already prepared a formation to trap this person. The starlight was like a flood, and in the blink of an eye, it covered several miles of land. Be it the demon that was wrapped up in the formation, its ability to shrink or turn into gas was greatly restricted. The starlight sensed his aura and stuck to his body like maggot. As long as it touched his body, there would be a popping sound. Although the sound was crisp and soft, it was really strong. Each time it touched the demon's body, the demon's soul would shake and its energy would dissipate. Gu Chunsha wasn't this demon's match in a one-on-one fight, but he knew how to lay out formations. Back then, he laid out a formation on Wuzhou Mountain and chased away the 18 transformation Jing Fanxing. During these 4 months, he had planted the heaven monster tree and started to modify the earth veins here. He used the tree as a formation core treasure to absorb blood and souls while absorbing the power of the stars. As time went on, he laid out a formation. With this formation, he wasn't at a disadvantage when dealing with the Tao Realm Transformation 20 Demon. Heaven Demon Chaos Hole. Seeing that the Tao Realm Transformation 20 Demon was trapped and unable to attack Gu Chunsha, the Shiman brothers dodged long ago in case they were of more help. But at that moment, a vicious expression appeared on the demon's face and it suddenly shot out a black whirlpool. Immediately, ghostly wails and deities howled. All of the starlight and star sand divine lightning were no longer under the control of the formation, and they surged towards the pitch-black vortex. Even Gu Chensha's primordial spirit and physical body were drawn along, and were about to be sucked into the vortex. Heaven Monster Chaos Hole. Gu Chensha suddenly changed and the entire formation changed once more. It turned into a giant whirlpool that sucked in the demon's Heaven Demon Chaos Hole. In the past, Gu Chensha, Lu Baiwei, and the others were sucked in by the Heaven Monster Chaos Hole in the Book of Heaven Monster. Be it the Heaven Monster Chaos Hole or the Heaven Demon Chaos Hole, they used the soul to activate energy to form a giant force field. This force field had the ability to swallow and refine. This Tao Realm Transformation 20 Demon created the Heaven Demon Chaos Hole breaking formation, while Gu Chunsha used the Heaven Monster Chaos Hole to counter it. When the two chaotic holes collided, a powerful shockwave immediately erupted and swept in all directions. Originally, this shockwave could destroy any expert, and even the 7-colored demon vine was about to be blown to pieces. But the moment the shockwave exploded, the celestial slaying god slaying flying knife gourd on the vine moved slightly and absorbed all the shockwave. It was as if the killing energy was a huge nourishment for the gourd. Rise! Gu Chunsha spread his arms and activated his stellar energy. Another punch was thrown at the monster. The demon didn't even bother looking. When Gu Chensha's fist landed on its body, it suddenly scattered and turned into a ball of demonic energy formed by runes. This wasn't Xiantian earth energy and it wasn't soul energy either. It was an energy current formed from its own body. This energy current was the energy of the impermanence 20 transformation realm. This was the essence of all one's cultivation. Demons swallow heaven and earth. The demonic energy wrapped around Gu Chunsha and turned into a seal that was about to freeze him within. This demonic energy was much stronger than Xiantian earth energy. Gu Chunsha felt his body tighten up and he felt like he couldn't move at all. It was as if he had been sealed in a formation. Tao Realm 20 transformation is really amazing. I actually can't fight back at all. No matter how I attack him, I can't harm him at all. This was the first time Gu Chunsha had fought against an elite of the 20 transformations. Only now did he truly feel how powerful his opponent was. If this person had mastered the 21 transformations of the 5 elements, he probably wouldn't even need to use any trick. He could just pounce at me and turn into the power of the 5 elements to trap me. With just a bit of refinement, I would be completely refined. Human, just die. The demon turned into runes and demonic energy wrapped around Gu Chunsha. It spun and wanted to drill into Gu Chensha's body to turn him into a puppet and steal his soul and memories. I know you've cultivated the immortal slaying god vanquishing gourd, and that the power of the saber is immense, and it can hurt me. However, I'm currently using demonic arts, and I'm one with you. If you activate the saber, you'll be killing yourself. With that puny cultivation base of yours, you are no match for me at all. The difference between our realms is so huge. Do you really think that you can overturn the heavens? The will of the monster instantly descended upon Gu Chench's mind, wanting to wrest control over it. At the same time, the demonic energy drilled into Gu Chench's body and started to control his meridians, dantian, and energy ocean. This was a really dangerous action. If Gu Chensha was totally controlled, he would really become a puppet. Logically speaking, with his Tao Realm 14 transformation soul leaving body cultivation, he wouldn't be able to fight Tao Realm 20 transformation gathering and dispersing impermanence realm. In just one clash, he would be totally controlled and refined. But now that the demon's will and demonic energy drilled into Gu Chench's mind, energy ocean, and meridians, he actually faced a huge resistance. There was a really strong power in Gu Chench's body that wanted to swallow and refine the demon's demonic energy. This was the strength of Gu Chench's sun-moon-dragon body. How could the body of a son of heaven be tainted by an evil demon? But his realm was too low and he could only resist slightly. He couldn't truly refine the demonic energy. Control the mind. At this moment, the monster had completely fused with Gu Chench's body. It could turn into a stream of energy and control every part of Gu Chench's body. It could directly devour him and obtain all his cultivation and memories. The most important thing now was to pierce through Gu Chench's sea of consciousness and destroy his resisting will. Only then would it succeed. Honglong. The demon's demonic energy pressed onto Gu Chench's meridians and energy ocean, turning his Xiantian earth energy into demonic energy. Then, the giant will started to crush his mind and soul. This battle was the most dangerous and it was different from Xiantian earth energy. Even if one failed, one could still escape. But now, if one failed, one's body and soul would be wiped out. There was no way to regret at all. Moreover, the sun-moon altar wasn't in Gu Chench's mind anymore. If the sun-moon altar was still there, even a god wouldn't be able to destroy his soul. The demon was courting death by entering his mind. But the sun-moon altar had flown away and Gu Chensha had nothing to rely on. Man and tree as one. At this time, Gu Chensha suddenly used some kind of secret art. The 7-colored demonic vine wrapped around him and started to absorb it. It was forcefully absorbing the demonic energy that the demon had seeped into his body. It's useless. If this tree of yours had evolved into a real heavenly demon tree, I would have run as far as I could. Unfortunately, I don't even have 1/10,000th of its power now. Just nice, I can refine this tree as well. The demon sent out a sinister will. What vigorous earth energy and bloodline. What a strong soul. How special. If I refine you, my cultivation will skyrocket. This kid is in danger. Chapter 320. Don't attack first. I don't believe that Gu Chensha will let the demon take his soul and flesh just like that. He definitely has a trump card. Gu Xiansha seemed to have read Wu Dongkong's mind. Zhuge Ye, the Lord of 7 Stars of the Celestial Calmness Bureau, is a shrewd schemer. He gave Gu Chensha an idea. He definitely won't let him die in vain. Of course I know that. Moreover, Gu Chensha isn't simple either. He won't put himself in danger. Wu Dangkong sneered. I've studied his information before. Back then, he was just a prince who was ostracized. He had a fortuitous encounter in the 14th year of Heavenly Talisman, and now, 6 years have already passed. To think that he has grown to such a realm. His actions are definitely not simple. The Celestial Tranquility Department can be said to be created by him. How could such a character die in the hands of the monsters? Even if the demon is a 20th transformation expert. I want to see how this kid will turn the tables. The moment he turns the tables, we can attack. Gu Xiansha laughed. We have helped him a lot these days, so we should have collected some interest. If we hadn't urged the demons to swarm over and he went to capture them himself, how could the sky demon tree have cultivated so quickly? There are 2 more here, so we can't be careless. Wu Dangkong deduced, one of them is probably stronger than both of us. It has probably reached Tao Realm 22, phenomenon of heaven and earth. When it reaches this realm, its body can change at will. It can turn into stone, tree, animal, and we won't even know if it gets close to us. Phenomenon of heaven and earth is used to form all things in the world. Even I haven't broken through to this realm. Gu Xianxia sighed. Reaching this realm is a whole new world. Tao Realm 6 cultivates astral energy, Tao Realm 14 forms the Yuan soul, and Tao Realm 20 forms gathering and dispersing. It combines astral energy, the body, and the Yuan soul into one to turn it into spiritual power. It is so mysterious that it is hard to describe with words. Wu Dangkong pointed out the mysteries of cultivation. At this moment, Gu Chunxia was in danger. The Tao Realm Transformation 20 demon entered his body and controlled him. It started to refine him, and he was unable to block it with his own strength. Even if he borrowed the 7-colored demon vine's strength, it was useless. This dermic power is indeed above essence soul power. Gu Chunxia was restrained. He felt like he was in purgatory, and the depths of his consciousness were a sea of lava. However, he did not panic at all. Instead, he circulated his stellar energy and nascent divinity to resist. What he used was the Son of Heaven's God sealing technique's sun and moon refinement, which was to refine the monsters that had entered his body. However, this demon was at the 20th transformation of the Tao realm, gather and disperse impermanence realm. He had already merged his physical body, astral energy, and essence spirit into one, forming spiritual power. The 20th transformation of Tao realm was when the body turned into energy, gathering it and spreading it out was energy. This qi was magic power. The so-called law was a rule. The law was to set a rule, and magic power was the power of the rule. When a cultivator reached the 19th transformation of the Tao realm, they would have trained their physical body to the limit. To break through to the 20th transformation, they would have to gather their physical body, astral energy, and essence spirit to explode and turn into spiritual power. Breaking through this transformation was really dangerous and the mortality rate was much higher than before. Since ancient times, there had been as many cultivators in the world as there were carps in the river. However, only 1 in 100 managed to cultivate the innate upstanding qi, 1 in 1,000 managed to cultivate the glass jade body, and 1 in 10,000 managed to cultivate the primordial spirit. As for those who cultivated the golden core, it was extremely rare. As for those who cultivated spiritual power, only those with great wisdom, perseverance, luck would have a chance. Physical body strength, Xiantian astral energy, and essence spirit power would all be gathered together to form spiritual power. Each stage was a qualitative change. If a cultivator used physical body strength to fight against someone who cultivated Xiantian astral energy, it would be a one-sided battle. Gu Chunxia was now at the 14th transformation of the Tao realm. His essence spirit left his body, and when he faced a monster at the 20th transformation, he was restricted. But he finally sensed how strong the spiritual power was. This personal experience was much better than deducing it. Even if there was just a thread of spiritual power, it was like a bone maggot that couldn't be removed. The mysteriousness of spiritual power wasn't something that he could refine and shatter. Even if he used sun and moon refining, sky monster secret technique, and even his common people heaven mending technique and Lu Baiyue's common people heaven changing technique to circulate it in his body, it was useless. This was a difference in quality, a difference in realm that couldn't be made up for. At the end of the Tao realm, each realm was a huge difference. It wasn't like the few realms before where the difference wasn't as huge. For example, from first to fifth transformation, one used physical strength. There was a limit and one could use weapons, herbs, and cultivation techniques to make up for it. When Gu Chunsha was at the second transformation, he could deal with those at the fifth and sixth transformation. He relied on the Son of Heaven God sealing technique to strengthen his body. But now that he was facing a 20th transformation expert, all cultivation techniques were useless. If he had the Dragon Gate, he could use that treasure to swallow spiritual power. He could use the true essence within to work with Buzhou Palace to suppress this demon. But now, he had nothing and could only fight it head-on. This is a good chance to train. Gu Chunsha was persevering in his heart, but he didn't have any fear. His spirit had long been cultivated to the point where it was as firm as a boulder. He wasn't afraid of life and death, and he wasn't afraid of danger. From start to finish, he remained calm. This was a good chance to train his heart. The monster's spiritual power continued to seep in and wanted to drown his mind and swallow his soul. If nothing went wrong, he would definitely die. Honglong. All of a sudden, Gu Dusha erupted. His soul and his mind gave off an intense glow. In the depths of his mind, his soul turned into a heaven eye that chased away all the black energy. At the crucial moment, he didn't suppress his cultivation and broke through to the 15th transformation. The heaven eye hung in the air. This realm was a transformation when one's soul was condensed to the extreme. At the 14th transformation, one's soul was slightly weak and couldn't fly high into the air. It was afraid of wind, lightning, magnetic field changes, etc. At the 15th transformation, the soul's power would increase greatly and it wouldn't be afraid of anything. Even if it flew high into the air and was struck by yin-yang lightning, it wouldn't die. Of course, if it was an intense lightning explosion, the soul wouldn't be able to take it. As for Gu Chensha's soul, it was dozens of times stronger than people of the same realm. When he was at the 14th transformation, he was able to multitask and even Golden Core experts couldn't compare to him. The monster's soul power probably couldn't compare to his. However, the fiend's had dermic powers. Even a sliver of it was far superior to his primordial spirit power and stellar energy. Luckily, he had a trump card. After he reached the 15th transformation, the depths of his mind shone brightly and he actually started to chase away the monster's spiritual power. Human, you are really stubborn. You are still raising your realm at such a time. Do you think that you can escape from me just like that? Your primordial spirit and fleshly body will always be mine. The fiend monster erupted again, activating all of its magic power to firmly suppress Gu Chunsha. The monster didn't use all its strength in case of an ambush. It only used a third of its strength, and that was enough to suppress Gu Chunsha. But after Gu Chunsha advanced to the 15th transformation, Heaven's Eye suspends space. He could no longer suppress 1/3 of his magic power. He could only use half of his power. This was the limit of what he could use. If he exceeded that, people would take advantage of him. At that time, he would be able to refine Gu Chunsha, but he would also be killed by other monster experts. 9 Heaven Stars, refine the demon. Gu Chunsha used his primordial spirit to activate the 7-colored demonic vine and the formation that he had set up earlier. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. The power of the stars in the sky sensed it and poured down like a waterfall. The 7-colored demon vine cooperated with Gu Chunsha and used all its strength. When the power of the stars landed on the tree, it turned into astral flames. They coiled around each other and entered Gu Chunsha's acupoints to refine the demonic chi. In an instant, everything within several kilometers was enveloped by the astral true fire. After the 7-colored demon vine evolved into the touch of the ghostly god and then the heavenly demon tree, it turned the evil spirits into the 28 constellation Fey gods. They directly absorbed the power of the stars and turned it into a constellation formation with unparalleled power. So now, the seven-colored demon vine also had the ability to absorb the power of the stars. 28 constellations destroy the demon. At this time, the 28 evil spirits on the heavenly demon tree also chanted. They were wrapped in the fruit and squirmed, absorbing the huge power of the stars, and actually began to evolve. The outside of the fruit condensed into the horned wood dragon, Kong gold dragon, D earth raccoon, Room sun rabbit, heart moon fox, tail fire tiger, water leopard of winnowing basket, wood dragon, ghost goat, earth deer willow, sun horse of star, moon deer of extended net, winged fire snake, Zhen waterworm, Kuei wood wolf, Lu gold dog, stomach earth pheasant, Pleiades sun chicken, by moon crow, Jiao fire monkey, water ape, wood fighting hoe, golden ox, earth bat of girl, sun rat of emptiness, Wei moon swallow, room fire pig, wall water serpent. The formation was activated fiercely. The astral true fire in the sky seemed to turn into a sphere and fell down. Inside the formation, the dragon snake lightning penetrated Gu Chencha's body. Gu Chencha's body seemed to turn into a grave of falling stars. This was the strongest move of the myriad stars flying immortal art, grave of stars. He turned his body into a peerless grave, causing all the stars to perish and fall into the grave to be buried. With his common people heaven-mending art as the foundation, he activated the ancient 28 constellations demon god transformation of the sky demon mystic art. Together with the myriad stars flying immortal art, he combined them to evolve the Tao of demon slaying. The power of the stars was the best at destroying demons. At this moment, all the stars in the sky seemed to appear. Everyone in a radius of thousands of miles could see that in broad daylight, the sun, moon, and stars actually appeared. They each emitted light and descended fiercely. They gathered into a thick pillar of stars, as though they formed a path to heaven. Gu Chensha circulated it at full strength. Together with the power of the formation, he was actually so mighty. Impressive. When Wu Dangkong, who was about to make a move, saw this scene, he suppressed his own thoughts. This Gu Chensha is really starting to counterattack. He actually raised his cultivation level and activated the grand array that he prepared earlier, borrowing the power of the stars to refine the demon. Chapter 321. Gu Chensha is indeed a genius. It's a pity that I can't use such a person, and he even goes against me. Wu Dongkong's expression kept changing. At this point, she couldn't help but admire this person. What's your goal? Do you want to overthrow my great Yong? Gu Xiansha smiled faintly. Do you hate father for forcing you into the palace as a concubine? That's right. Wu Dangkong didn't have any misgivings now, however. If Gu Taxian disappears, it's not impossible for me to take control of the great Yonko court and ascend to the throne as the empress. I will definitely govern the world well. Can you govern the world well? Gu Xiansha asked. How can you know what I'm capable of? Wu Dangkong had the heavenly sacrificial talisman with her, so she was naturally fearless and would always be in an invincible position. She thought, although the Emperor of Yonko had the heavenly sacrificial talisman, there were many restrictions at that time. The people's qi wasn't abundant, and the laws were irregular. The fate of the country was weak, so the Emperor's qi wasn't much. But now, the world is more than 100 times stronger than it was in ancient times. The Emperor's qi is so dense that it can't be compared to ancient times. If I can grasp the opportunity, I can definitely cultivate the Emperor's god bestowment art to an unprecedented level. This is my best chance. I know you have some hidden tricks. Gu Xiansha looked at Gu Dangkong, thinking about something. I came back this time because I need your help with something. What is it? Wu Dangkong couldn't take Gu Xiansha lightly. I came back this time to obtain the position of Crown Prince. If I become the Crown Prince, won't our cooperation be flawless? Gu Xianxia said. Crown Prince? You want to be the Crown Prince? Wu Dangkong was a little surprised. Gu Taxian has to personally confer the title. How can I do that? Don't worry. If my guess is correct, I will soon receive Father's imperial edict to make me the Crown Prince. I just don't want you to interfere. Gu Xuanxia's tone was very mysterious. You know what Gu Taxian is going to do next? Wu Dangkong was on high alert. She was now the chief of the upper study room and the regent of the state. Although she could not subdue her subordinates, she still had a title and could slowly build up her power. However, if there was a crown prince, things would be different. How can you know my background? Gu Xianxia returned the question to Wu Dangkong. Wu Dangkong was so angry that he almost vomited blood. His eyes were cold, and he actually wanted to kill. Well, even if you are ambitious, you can't do it alone. Why don't we work together and share the world? That would be a good thing. Gu Xuanxia's words made Wu Dangkong's killing intent even stronger. Let's not talk about the Crown Prince for now. Wu Dangkong waved his hand. Right now, we need to deal with the monsters and Gu Qianxia. After both sides are injured, we can take advantage of the situation. I just want Gu Qianxia's memories and the heavenly demon tree. I want his essence blood and part of his primordial spirit to make a treasure. A smile appeared on Gu Xuanxia's face. Of course, his memories are not trivial. They contain many cultivation methods and mysteries. He can actually activate the dead black tortoise and vermilion bird eggs. With this essence blood, I can do a lot of things. Do you also have the dead eggs of ancient holy beasts? Wu Dangkong asked. That's not for outsiders to know. Gu Xianxia was mysterious again. That's strange. Logically, only the blood of the Sun Moon Dragon can activate a dead holy beast egg. Why can Gu Qianxia also activate it? Did he also cultivate the Son of Heaven investiture technique? Impossible. Wu Dangkong pondered. Maybe it's the mystery of the Great Massacre divine technique? It seems that I can only understand everything by capturing this person and obtaining his memories. Let's not kill his people. Gu Xianxia said. After we kill him, I'm afraid that the Jingxian department will take revenge on us. After we capture him, we can extract his memories and essence blood and take them to the court. We can say that he overestimated himself and cultivated demonic art. He wanted to open the seal of the sea of sin and absorb monsters. Instead, he was eroded by the monsters, which led to the invasion of the monster army. We saved him. Good idea. We have the high ground now. Wu Dangkong naturally agreed with this idea. When he captured Jing Fanxing, he slandered me. Let's see how he can escape this time. Let's see if Zhuge Ye has any follow-up tricks. Gu Xianxia looked at the sky in the distance. In the Jingxian department, the only one I'm afraid of is this person. Of course, Jin Suebua is definitely not simple. Jin Suebua has the Book of Wuji behind him. But this time, he was bewitched by Zhuge Ye and forcibly refined 5 stars. There will be more disasters in the future. When Wu Dangkong was about to say something, the devil qi in the distance suddenly surged and cut off the light of stars. He immediately knew what had happened. The devil has used 80% of his power. Gu Xianxia said. It seems that he has to get Gu Qianxia's body and soul. Let's see if he has more trump cards. Gu Qianxia's body was shining with stars for a while, and was surrounded by black gas for a while. This was the sign of being possessed by the devil. The devil used half of his power, but he couldn't suppress Gu Qianxia. So, he increased his power and used 80% of his power. This 80% power was not trivial. It immediately cut off the channel through which the power of stars fell. A black cloud covered the sky, forcibly covering the power of stars. In the big formation, many devil shadows appeared. Flesh-like flames appeared out of thin air, burning the big formation and making it sizzling. This was the demonic fire. Gu Chunxia was about to melt in the demonic fire. Suddenly, his aura rose again. The soul in the depths of his mind underwent a shocking change. The soul gave off an aura like that of the sun and moon. His mind expanded and his body shone brightly. It was like someone had sealed the light of primordial beginning within. Tao Realm 16 Transformations, Reincarnation. The demon roared in rage. At that moment, Gu Chunxia actually raised his realm once more and reached the Tao Realm 16 Transformations, Reincarnation Realm. The so-called reincarnation realm meant that one's soul completely abandoned their physical body and borrowed someone else's body to recover their life. This realm represented another meaning, which was the complete separation of the soul and body. Although every time he possessed someone else's body, his soul would be damaged and his cultivation would regress, it was still a completely new realm. His nascent soul had severed its connection with his physical body, allowing him to maintain his form in the world without dissipating. Normally speaking, the soul needed to be nourished by the physical body. If it left the physical body for too long, it would slowly wither and disappear from the world. If the physical body died, then even if the soul entered another body, the physical body would not be in sync with the soul, causing the physical body to die. After reaching reincarnation realm, the soul would understand the mysteries of the physical body and could adjust its own frequency to suit any physical body. This was a detailed realm that represented the improvement of one's soul and soul. One would be able to better sense heaven and earth and all living beings. When one reached this realm, the frequency of one's soul fluctuations couldn't be compared to the 15 transformations. The 15 transformations, heaven's eye suspending, meant that one's soul was tough and didn't need to be afraid of heaven and earth fluctuations. The 16 transformations, reincarnation realm, went one step further and became one with the frequency of all living beings. When one reached this realm, one could use the soul to absorb spiritual energy and use formations to harmonize the physical body, causing the physical body and soul to become more perfect. The strength of all sorts of martial arts and energy would increase by several times. The 16 transformations, reincarnation realm, was like that in theory. It didn't just mean that the soul could be possessed. The instant Gu Chunxia advanced to the 16th transformation, reincarnation by possessing a corpse, his vital qi, stellar energy, and essence soul immediately formed a resonance. The power of the netherworld was born from his limbs and bones, meridians, acupoints, sea of energy, and sea of consciousness. The entire formation's fluctuations became several times more compatible with him. Huge starlight surged into the sky, scattering the black clouds once again. The power of the stars transformed into flames, musical notes, swords, and dharma treasures that descended. As Gu Chenchia's powerful soul circulated, the power of the stars was no longer light. Instead, it took on various forms. In the end, it even transformed into the shadows of fairies and divine generals that directly descended into the formation. Under such a powerful guidance, the formation that Gu Chunxia had set up for 4 months unleashed a tremendous power. The 7-colored demonic vine was originally dark gold in color, but now it actually became the color of the resplendent stars. It seemed to have transformed into a star tree. Immortal soul breakthrough. Gu Chenchia's soul rippled once more. He used the common people mending heaven technique and the common people reforming heaven technique. Instantly, huge amounts of spiritual energy and celestial energy broke through the void and descended, striking the rainbow demon vine. The common people reforming heaven technique was evolved from the great massacre god technique. It could absorb all sorts of dimensional energy and use all sorts of mysterious formulas to combine them. In the end, one would have endless sciention energy, soul power, and even spiritual power. Gu Chunxia wasn't able to fully comprehend the great massacre god technique, but after his cultivation reached the 16 transformations, he comprehended some of its profoundness. Under his activation, the common people reforming heaven technique rippled, and he felt all sorts of dimensions. In a trance, he felt like the entire world was different. The world wasn't like what he saw in front of him. Instead, there were many layers, twisting dimensions that stacked on top of each other endlessly. He seemed to see countless dimensions. Among those dimensions, some were complete worlds with living beings, and some were flat worlds without living beings, all filled with all kinds of vital energy. However, seeing was just seeing. He couldn't absorb energy from some dimensions. It was just like how ordinary people couldn't absorb the sun, moon, and stars when they saw them. His realm wasn't there yet, or rather, he couldn't truly comprehend the supreme profoundness of the great massacre god technique. However, such a change in realm allowed him to condense the sky demon tree even faster. In an instant, the seven-colored demon vine grew even more vines and absorbed all the power of the stars. It returned to its dark gold color, but all sorts of talismans formed on the tree again. Those talismans became leaves, and the talismans on each leaf danced like ghosts and gods. This was the sign of advancing to the ghostly god touch. Chapter 322. Gu Qinsha used his Tao Realm 16 transformation body reincarnation cultivation to use the formation and the seven-colored demon vine to refine the 20 transformation impermanence gathering demon monster. He had advanced 2 realms consecutively and even comprehended some secrets of the great massacre divine art. This was no small matter. The gap between him and the demon shrunk. Of course, even with his cultivation, he was no match for the demon. Luckily, he laid out the formation for 4 months and killed millions of demons to form the seven-colored demon vine. He stored a huge amount of energy in the roots of the vine. Now that he activated all of it, he used it to refine the demon's power and nourish himself. The battle with the demon benefited him greatly. His strength increased greatly and he comprehended many things that he hadn't comprehended before. His talent was that of a top genius, and he absorbed the star mysteries of heaven's sin and earth evil. His talent was even better and he was already at the peak of the top geniuses. His comprehension ability was not something that normal experts could compare to. It was even tough to find a few people with higher talent than him in the 72 Celestial Pathgate. His ability to comprehend had been proven right now. Under the refinement of the monster's magic power, some of the concepts that he couldn't fuse together were now connected. Many of the cultivation problems that he had been pondering over were now solved. Heaven Monster Book, Son of Heaven God Sealing Technique, Great Massacre God Technique, 10,000 Star Flying Celestial Technique, etc. Many new things were merged into the common people heaven mending technique. Gu Qinsha placed himself on the brink of death to train himself. Between life and death, he forced out his potential and forcefully comprehended some things to raise his cultivation. This was a part of his plan. If he didn't fight to the death, then how would he have any achievements? He was really calm and used the power of the stars to refine the demon. Ah, you human, you deserve to die. You actually stole a portion of my power. The demons will roared like thunder in Gu Qinsha's mind. Right when Gu Qinsha advanced to the 16th transformation of Tao Realm, he was caught off guard. The shaking frequency of the formation and Gu Qinsha actually refined close to 1% of his power. Originally, it was impossible for magic power to be refined by low-level primordial spirit power. However, at the crucial moment, Gu Qinsha comprehended some of the mysteries of the great massacre god technique. With a sudden vibration, he broke through some of the weak points of the fiend monster in one fell swoop and obtained some benefit. This 1% of power was really shocking, but it didn't merge into Gu Qinsha's body. Instead, it merged into the seven-colored demon vine. With the support of this high-level energy, the seven-colored demonic vine once again shone brightly. This light was black and white. Black represented ghosts, while white represented gods. This was a sign that it was about to evolve into the ghost god Tut. This was a sign that it was about to evolve into the ghost god Tut. Gu Chunxia took advantage of this opportunity and suddenly activated it. The gourd on the seven-colored demon vine suddenly spewed out a stream of air. Within the stream of air there was a flying knife. The flying dagger had eyes. It flew over and pierced into Gu Chencha's body. Gotcha! With just one knife, cold knife energy flowed all around Gu Chencha's body. It entered his meridians, energy ocean, and even his mind. This knife could kill celestials and gods. The strongest part was the killing energy that shocked the heavens. Kill, 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 kill. Gu Chencha's entire body was immediately filled with boundless killing intent. But he was unharmed because this was his own treasure. With this slash, the monster's magic power was destroyed, and about 1/10 of it was absorbed by Gu Chunxia. All of it was sent into the seven-colored demon vine. The vine grew really fast, like it was about to reach into the clouds and attract yin and yang. Heaven attracting lightning. Gu Chunxia took advantage of this opportunity to use his secret magic again. Instantly, the yin and yang in the sky were thrown into chaos. Lightning flashed and thunder boomed. All of it gathered on Gu Chunxia, causing his entire body to crackle with thunder and lightning. This was another secret technique of the Heaven Monster Tree. It could mess up yin and yang and attract lightning to break the demon once more. The demon's aura and power were both weakened. Gu Chunxia was actually going to refine this Tao Realm 20 demon in his body. The seven-colored demonic vine was continuously nourished, and its power became even stronger. Vital energy circulated within it, and the appearances of the 28 demons began to change. They chanted countless sutras from their mouth. Is he really going to refine this Tao Realm 20 demon? Wu Dangkong and Gu Xianxia didn't expect Gu Chunxia to improve so many times. It was just so shocking. There really is such a possibility. If nothing unexpected happens, this monster is seeking his own destruction. He scattered his entire body into magical power and entered Old 19's body to devour him. Now, Teacher's body has become a cage that can't let him out. If he chooses to use spells to escape, then Old 19 really can't do anything to him. Gu Xianxia frowned. Of course, it won't be easy for Old 19 to refine this demon. He won't succeed without a year and a half. I think the other demons will take action at this time. What we need to pay attention to now is the demon that has cultivated to the 22 changes, the phenomenon of heaven and earth. As soon as he finished speaking, 2 streams of demonic energy shot up from the grassland of the 3,000-mile bottomless sea of sin. They appeared. There seemed to be some excitement on Wu Dangkong's face. These monsters in Gu Chunxia, they would never have guessed what my trump card is. I'm going to catch them all today. In that instant, she activated the sacrifice with a single thought. In the depths of her sea of consciousness, the Grotto Heaven's sacrifice began. The 3.6 million souls and blood suddenly evaporated and were collected by the power of the Way of Heaven in the Sun and Moon altar. Then an unparalleled power filled her body. Then a space was born in the depths of her sea of consciousness and sea of qi. What? At that moment, Gu Chunxia also felt a surge of the power of the Way of Heaven in her body. It also opened up a space in the depths of her soul and sea of consciousness. This is the Grotto Heaven sacrifice. It uses 3.6 million souls and blood to worship the Way of Heaven. Then, like a god, it opens up a space in the depths of her soul and sea of consciousness. It should be Wu Dangkong who started the sacrifice, but I got the advantage. Gu Chunxia had a deep understanding of the Son of Heaven's God-sealing arts, Sun and Moon sacrificial art. He immediately understood. It seems like everything is going according to my calculations. I already knew that this place was suppressing the devil beasts, and Wu Dangkong definitely knew about it. She also needed the devil beasts here to sacrifice to her in order to obtain great benefits. My plan originally included her, so how could she escape my calculations? Crack, crack. The power of the way of heaven opened up a space in Guchench's body. The space gradually expanded like a chaotic sphere. When the space inside was the size of a house, it stopped. There were a total of 2. His soul and sea of consciousness were both the size of a house. At the same time, the power of space surged into his meridians and acupoints. Although it didn't turn the meridians and acupoints into grotto heavens, it greatly increased the strength of his body. When he breathed, he could compress the sciention earth energy and refine the power of the soul. Be it the power of the soul or the sciention earth energy, they were all refined from the body. The body was the final foundation. The sea of consciousness and energy were the 2 bellows, and the meridians were the channels. The stronger one was, the stronger the absorption and digestion ability. In just this short period of time, Guchench's body was at least 10 times stronger. This was the power of space, the mysteries of space and time. After cultivating the 27-world seamless Tao realm, one would be able to tear open space and teleport. When one reached 30, one would be able to open up a grotto heaven. Only then would one be able to create a stable space in the depths of the chaotic space flow. At that moment, Guchensha received the power of space and time. It entered his body and merged with it. This was how amazing the power of the heaven Tao was. Even a god couldn't create a space in a mortal's body. This was because the power of space and time was violent and hard to control. If it was created in the body, the person might die right away. But how amazing was the power of the heaven Tao! He directly merged the power of space and time into his body. It was a perfect merger without any flaws. Ha 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 ha! Everything was going according to Guchench's plan. His fleshly body was strengthened, and a spatial grotto heaven appeared in his sea of consciousness and energy. He breathed in and out, and countless streams of vital energy entered his meridians, dantian and sea of energy, absorbing the magical power of the monster. He used his sciention earth energy and spacetime power surged in his body. It swallowed and spat like a snake swallowing the sun. The demon didn't expect that Guchench's body could actually use spacetime power. This was a power that only gods could use. Kacha kacha. At that moment, 80% of the demon's power was shattered by the power of space and merged into Guchench's body. Guchench's original physical body could not contain such powerful magic power, but now he could do it with ease. The demon's power was directly absorbed into his sea of energy and sea of consciousness. It settled down and turned into his sciention earth energy and sciention soul power. Guchensha casually breathed, and a strong whirlpool appeared in the space. Demon, you probably didn't expect that I would have such a change, right? His will stabbed into the demon's will. The demon was already really weak and couldn't resist at all. I hate. The demon's will gave out a grievance, but it was useless. Guchensha absorbed it and smashed it apart. The change happened in an instant. From Wu Dongkong's sacrifice to opening up the space with the power of the heaven Tao, Guchensha used this power to kill the demon and absorb it into his body. Everything happened in the blink of an eye. At that moment, 2 streaks of demonic energy rose up from the center of the bottomless sea of sin. Damn, as expected, he took advantage of this moment. Guchensha completely digested the demon and his strength increased once more. However, he didn't let his guard down when facing this demon. 7-colored demon vine, shrink. Chapter 323. Honglong. 2 streaks of demonic energy smashed into the treasure light and broke all 28 layers. The demonic energy was endless, especially one that seemed to have comprehended the mysteries of creation, the mysteries of heaven and earth, and the essence of all living things. Lawful embodiment of heaven and earth expert. Gu Chunsha immediately understood that this was the lawful embodiment of heaven and earth of the 22 transformations of the Tao realm. Although he had refined the demon of the 20 transformations and the power of time and space had appeared in his body, he still needed time to consolidate his cultivation before he could charge to the 17 transformations of the Tao-splitting soul or even the 18 transformations of the Great Tao. The space power in his body was comparable to that of a god. Even if he faced an lawful embodiment of heaven and earth expert, he wouldn't be afraid at all. Upgrade. Touch of the Ghost God. Originally, it would have taken Gu Chunsha a very long time for the demonic rainbow vine to reach the touch of the Ghost God. However, after obtaining the power of time and space, and refining the devil beasts of the 20 transformations of the impermanence and materialization realm, the immense power and realm he gained was enough for the demonic rainbow vine to rapidly evolve into the touch of the Ghost God. Honglong. The 7-colored demon vine exploded, and there was a cracking sound from within. Lightning flashed and purple energy shone. The entire vine quickly grew and spread into the sky. It was like a stairway to the heavens that could reach beyond the clouds. The entire tree was growing at a speed visible to the naked eye. It directly rushed into the clouds and spread its branches and leaves in the clouds. Bright nebulae immediately enveloped the treetop. The entire tree wasn't 7-colored but dark gold. Countless talismans flowed on it, and it gave off an unparalleled aura. This was the touch of the Ghost God. This was the 3rd stage of the heavenly demon tree's evolution. The so-called touch of the Ghost God was the tentacle of the Ghost God. This tree could communicate with the Ghost God and steal the essence of heaven and earth. At this moment, the strength of this tree was no weaker than an 18 transformation golden core expert. This was just the beginning. If it grew for a long time, it would be equivalent to a 29 transformation Tao realm expert. Then, it would only be weaker than a god. As for the heavenly demon tree, it would be like a god or even stronger than one. Of course, for Gu Chunsha to evolve this tree to such a level, he would need hundreds or even thousands of years. Time waited for no one. Very good, it has finally evolved into the touch of the demon and god. It can be said that this tree has taken root here and become a sturdy fortress. Gu Chunsha looked at the Ghost God's touch tree. Its vines were rapidly growing, reaching into the clouds. Below it, there were layers of fortress-like structures. He knew that this tree was a huge battle fortress. The vines on its branches intertwined, forming nests for an army to live in. Living in this nest could nourish one's mind and body, and temper one's cultivation. One's growth was extremely fast. In ancient times, humans lived on trees. There was once a demonic sage who taught humans to build a nest and called it Have Nest. The touch of the ghost and god grew, and the vines wrapped around the tree trunk, extending for dozens of kilometers and reaching into the clouds. It was large enough to house hundreds of thousands of people, perhaps even millions. In ancient times, the great sages of the demon race refined the heavenly demon tree in order to protect their race. The entire race lived on the tree. Not only could it shelter them from the wind and rain, it could also speed up their cultivation. It was equivalent to a cave abode for cultivators. It could be said that the race with the heavenly demon tree was the real big race. It could survive in the cruel environment of ancient times, where the strong preyed on the weak. After mastering the touch of the ghost and god, Gu Chunsha could use it as a foundation to complete the first step of suppressing the bottomless sea of sin. He could turn the demons invading human beings into a magic treasure warehouse and a field for making elixirs. In this way, the power of the Tranquil Fairy Department would expand by more than 10 times, which would be enough to deal with all kinds of situations in the future. I have to thank Wu Dangkong for this. She actually activated the grand sacrifice of the heavenly abode, which increased the strength of my body by several times or even 10 times. She also condensed a space in the depths of my sea of consciousness and sea of chi. From now on, no one can break my sea of consciousness and sea of chi. After completing the evolution of the seven-colored demonic vine into the ghost god's touch, Gu Chunsha hid in the ghost god's touch tree and defended like a turtle. He didn't attack, and the devil chi outside couldn't do anything to him. The two waves of devil chi bombarded each other repeatedly. However, every time they bombarded, the vines on the ghost god's touch tree would whip over and burst out balls of star divine thunder, blocking all the devil chi outside. Moreover, the starlight in the sky fell faster and faster. As time went by, the ghost god's touch would only become stronger and stronger. Gu Chunsha presided over it, and many mystical things were born. What on earth happened? Wu Dengkong was about to attack, but she forcibly stopped her magic power. Just now, when she activated the grand sacrifice of the heavenly abode, the power of time and space circulated in her body. She condensed a space in the depths of her sea of consciousness and sea of chi, which doubled her cultivation. She stabilized the strength in her body and was about to break through the realm. Then, she attacked and killed everyone. However, she didn't expect that Gu Chunsha would burst out with an unimaginable combat power in an instant. He directly refined the monster of the 20 changes and resisted the devil chi from the other two demons. Then, he evolved the seven-colored demonic vine into the ghost god's touch. This time she was shocked. She felt Gu Chensha's mountain-like aura and even the power of time and space. How can this be? Gu Xiansha also didn't expect this to happen. Of course, Wu Dengkong didn't expect that every time she performed the grand sacrifice, half of the sacrificial power would enter Gu Chensha's body and benefit Gu Chunsha. She also didn't expect that the sacrificial decree would be distorted by Heaven Talisman Great Emperor's words, "Man conquers nature." This was unprecedented. Even if she was extremely intelligent, she wouldn't have expected such a thing to happen. The two waves of devil chi continuously attacked the ghost god's touch, but as long as Gu Chunsha didn't move, they couldn't do anything. Of course, if Gu Chunsha wanted to capture them and refine them, it was impossible. That monster of the 20 transformations had directly entered his body and occupied his sea of consciousness. Caught off guard, the power of space and time had completely scattered his magic power, killing him in both body and soul. If it had fought with Gu Chunsha, it definitely wouldn't have been so miserable. Don't act rashly. Gu Xiansha also saw that the two demonic chis kept attacking, but they couldn't do anything to Gu Chunsha. He frowned and said, "I miscalculated. I didn't expect old 19's trump card to be so strong. It seems that just now, his body suddenly had the power of a god. The power of time and space itself was a power that only gods could control. Let's wait and see." Wu Dengkong was a bit shocked. She didn't know what was going on, so she naturally wouldn't attack fiercely. At this time, the two waves of devil chi felt that they couldn't attack, so they suddenly withdrew and disappeared. The monster deep in the demonic grass also disappeared. It seemed to have retreated. What a sneaky monster! Gu Chunsha sat in the depths of the tree that was dozens of miles wide. Dense vines intertwined to form a room. The vines were faintly dotted with stars, dazzling and gorgeous. He looked up and saw the tree's crown spread out in the clouds, forming many whirlpools that absorbed the power of the stars and spirit chi in the sky, as well as all kinds of astral winds and lightning explosions. The roots of the ghost god's touch spread deep underground, absorbing the devil chi and all the demonic grass that was growing wildly around it. Demonic grass was the monster's food. Without it, these monsters couldn't stay for long. Demons and monsters, activate and evolve. Gu Chunsha began to activate the 28 demons and monsters. The 28 puppets actually began to evolve in their own directions. Their final goal was to become the 28 demon gods. When they had a little success, they could activate the tree and automatically absorb the power of the stars. Gu Chunxia didn't need to preside over it. These monsters have retreated. I can't kill more monsters to absorb their blood essence and souls to feed the tree. The speed of evolution will be greatly slowed down, which is not good for the overall situation. Gu Chunxia wasn't happy because of the retreat of the monsters. Instead, he was worried. My plan is to absorb all the monsters' blood essence and souls. I'll absorb as many as I can, and then I'll be able to condense as many pills and magic treasures as I can. The monsters and weapons were all made of good minerals, so they would also be absorbed by the ghost god's touch. The tree could now absorb many things, including blood essence and souls. Gu Chunxia knew that there were many treasures in the demonic domain under the seal of the bottomless sea of sin. They were just contaminated with devil qi. For example, there were swords and armors made of ancient nether iron, which had the mysterious ability to devour souls. There were also minerals such as demonic jade, demonic crystals, and demonic silver. They were all wonderful treasures. As long as he could dispel the devil qi, he could return to his original state and turn a demon into an immortal. Gu Chunxia was familiar with the ancient records. In the depths of many demonic domains, there were many treasures of heaven and earth. Moreover, there were many remains of ancient immortals in the demonic domains. They had fallen during the Great War between immortals and demons. Many masters in the Xianmen sect would sometimes go to various demonic domains to explore or hone their Dao techniques and martial art. Shimen left, Shimen right. Gu Chunxia ordered. Yes. The Shimen brothers were also wrapped in the depths of layers of vines. The tree seemed to have become a natural cave and a palace room. It was very comfortable. Some of the rooms had vines gurgling with water and sweet fruit. They could live in this tree until the end of time. They secretly admired the mystery of creation. The tree could actually grow like this. You two guard the tree here. I'm about to leave to explore the demonic domain, Gu Chunxia said. Your Highness, I'm afraid it will be difficult for the two of us to guard this tree. This tree has already taken shape. If it is taken away by a master, won't your Highness' hard work be in vain? The Shimen brothers hurriedly persuaded. Why don't we go out and capture monsters for the tree to absorb? How many monsters can the two of you capture? Gu Chunxia waved his hand. If this tree can't absorb monsters, its growth will be extremely slow. So I'll go catch them myself. You don't have to worry. I have my own ideas. Chapter 324. Gu Chunxia has left the tree. It seems to be an opportunity for us. Wu Dangkong had been observing. He saw Gu Chunxia wrapped in gang qi and killed his way into the center of the bottomless sea of sin, where the seal was broken. Wu Dangkong couldn't help but look at ancient mystic sand. Her intention was obvious. She wanted to take this opportunity to snatch the ghost god touch. I'm tempted too. The ghost god touch is difficult to refine. Once this tree is refined, it will be like a war fortress. It will automatically absorb spiritual qi and immortal qi, and then absorb the flesh and souls of monsters. It will give birth to all kinds of elixirs, magic treasures, weapons, demons, puppets, and the immortal slaying gourd. Ancient mystic Sand's eyes sparkled. If I get this tree, I can raise an army of 100,000. It won't be strange to train all of them to the Tao realm. This tree is mine. We've already agreed. Are you going to go back on your word? Wu Dongkong's cultivation had improved. He already felt that ancient mystic Sand was very weak, so he spoke impolitely. She had performed the grand sacrifice of the heavenly abode. Although she didn't get all the power, her body had merged with the power of time and space. Her combat power had been many times more profound. She was confident that she could directly crush ancient mystic Sand. Of course, she also had some scruples about the power behind ancient mystic Sand, so she wasn't aggressive. Your cultivation has improved a lot in an instant. Murderous intent suddenly burst out of ancient mystic San's eyes, which surprised Wu Dankong. You've hidden a lot of tricks. It seems that neither of us has revealed our real trump cards. Wu Dankong waved his hand. Now is the time for sincere cooperation. We don't have to fight. In one word, we still capture Gu Chunxia and get his memory and the ghost god Tut. How about we share this treasure? With this treasure, your Hongyun Games and my scenic Wu Chamber of Commerce will no longer lack any magic treasures and elixirs. We will become the richest in the world. Okay. Ancient mystic Sand looked at the ghost god Touch again. She didn't really take action. Instead, she observed again and again. Old 19 is really not simple. He left something in the tree. He seems to be luring the enemy in and using it as bait to lure the masters out so that he can devour them again. I can also see some killing intent. Wu Dankong was disappointed. She wanted Gu Xianxia to make the first move, but she didn't expect that Gu Chunxia could see through Gu Chenxia's trick. Let's wait a little longer. Gu Xianxia frowned and said, I miscalculated once. I didn't expect him to have a surprise attack. Suddenly, a godlike power surged out of his body and refined the monster of 20 changes in one go. Since that's the case, it's not surprising that he still has a trump card. Wu Dankong didn't say anything else. He just looked at the gigantic touch of the demon and god tree, his heart filled with longing. However, Gu Chunxia made her tremble with fear. She didn't know how many trump cards he had hidden. My empty city stratagem really scared a lot of people. Gu Chunxia hid in the demonic grass. His mind was connected to the touch of the demon and god tree. He had been cultivating here for nearly 5 months. He had refined the blood-sucking devil vine into the 7-colored demon vine and then the touch of the demon and god. There were many strange phenomena. Many experts and powers had received the news. They would definitely have many ideas. After a few tests, he knew that Wu Dankong was definitely hiding nearby. So he deliberately acted strong. First, to kill the monster. Second, to lure the snake out of its hole. Third, to set up the empty city stratagem. Deep in his sea of consciousness and sea of qi there were 2 spaces. Each space was the size of a house. It wasn't very big, but it was enough to kill the monster and store the soul essence blood. The monster didn't attack him, which made his progress slow. He had to take risk. If I can capture a monster at the 20th transformation and refine it into the touch of the demon and god, then I can save 100 years of evolution time. Gu Chunxia was confident. He could definitely kill a monster at the 20th transformation now. His body contained the power of space and energy. His body's acupoints and meridians merged with the power of space. He could compare to an ancient god-beast's body. Moreover, he was at the 16th transformation of Tao realm reincarnation. Compared to people of the same realm, his astral energy and soul power were dozens of times stronger. Naturally, he had to thank Wu Dankong for this. So, he arrived at the center of the plains and saw that a few miles of land had caved in. It was pitch black inside and one couldn't see the bottom. Demonic energy shot out from within. If this demonic energy continues and spreads, it will affect the entire Xin province. It might even spread outside of Xin province. These damn monsters, no matter what, we can't kill them all. Why can't the world be peaceful? Monster, barbarian race, we can't kill them all? I don't believe it. Killing intent brewed in Gu Chenxia's heart. He didn't have the strength to seal this place. This hole was connected to an unknown demon region and demonic energy filled the area. He observed from above the hole. Xiantian astral energy wrapped around his body to block off the demonic energy to prevent it from entering his meridians. In the distance, the touch of the ghost god's crown entered the clouds and formed a whirlpool that crazily absorbed the demonic energy. In fact, demonic qi was also a type of energy. However, once a living being absorbed it, they would be able to cultivate very quickly. However, the death rate of chi deviation was also extremely high. People would also have thoughts of destroying everything, which would lead to distortion. Even gods wouldn't be able to avoid it. This was why the living beings in the demon region were all twisted, bloodthirsty, and would kill one another. In ancient times, countless sages of the demon race had researched ways to turn demonic aura into nutrient. The heavenly demon tree was born with this as the foundation. This was also one of the reasons why Gu Qinsha came to suppress the demon region. After mastering the touch of the ghost god, the speed at which he absorbed demonic energy increased greatly, causing the demonic energy in the sky to thin out. He estimated that after mastering the heaven monster tree, the demonic energy here would no longer be a problem. However, even with his current speed, mastering the heaven monster tree would probably take decades. This would also require Gu Qinsha to constantly kill the monsters. Fortunately, Gu Qinsha's cultivation improved by leaps and bounds. The higher his cultivation, the faster his refinement speed. Angling. Gu Qinsha didn't enter the demon cave directly. Instead, he landed and hid in the depths of the demonic herbs. He looked at the churning demonic energy in the cave and observed his surroundings. He didn't see any monsters in the surrounding demonic herbs. They had all retreated into the demon region. Gu Qinsha instantly condensed his Xiantian earth energy, turning it into a long thread. Like he was fishing, it seeped into the rumbling demonic energy. When he was at the 14th transformation of Tao realm, he was able to spread out his Xiantian earth energy to cover 100 miles. Now that he was at the 16th transformation of reincarnation and his body had merged with the power of time and space, the toughness of his earth energy had undergone a drastic change. Now, he formed his earth energy into a thread and headed deep into the demon region to fish. He could explore thousands of miles of land. The demon region was really dangerous, so of course, he wouldn't head down with his true body. It was just nice for him to fish here. Moreover, the Xiantian earth energy thread contained his soul, so once he went down, he would be able to see everything clearly. Zzz. The thread was like lightning that dove into the demon region at an extremely quick speed. In just a moment, the thread shook and a monster that was around the 7th or 8th transformation of Tao realm was hooked up and tossed into the sky. In the air, the vine flashed, piercing through the monster and absorbing it cleanly. Not even a speck was left. Net. At that moment, Gu Qinsha had used the earth energy thread to explore the situation in the demon region. However, he didn't head down with his true body. Instead, more threads appeared on his body and formed a huge net. He tossed it down like he was fishing, and in the blink of an eye, it disappeared into the rumbling demon region. The net formed from Xiantian earth energy was connected to a thin thread. Actually, at this moment, Gu Qinsha could split out a ball of Xiantian earth energy to form an incarnation far away from his main body. But if he did that, he wouldn't be able to replenish his energy and the incarnation would be easily destroyed in the demon region. If he cultivated to the level of Tao splitting soul separation, he would be able to separate 3 primordial spirits and cultivate in different places. After a few breaths, Gu Qinsha shook the thread in his hand. His face was filled with joy. The thread was heavy and it seemed like he had gained a lot from this net. He was like a fisherman who was working hard to catch fish. Indeed, he had gained a lot from this net. There were at least 3,000 fiend monsters struggling in the net, but it was useless. They were pulled out by Gu Qinsha and tossed into the sky, where they were all absorbed by the touch of ghost god vines. Gu Qinsha tossed the net again and again. With each net, he obtained quite a number of fiend monsters. There were at most a few thousand and at least a few hundred. However, these fiend monsters didn't have very high cultivation levels. True expert fiend monsters could dodge Gu Qinsha's net. Thankfully, with so many fiend monsters, he had gained quite a lot. After 2 or 3 days, the number of fiend monsters below gradually decreased. It seemed like Gu Chernsha had wiped them all out. It looks like the fiend monsters are a little afraid and have scattered. This way, I'll have to go down myself if I want to obtain fiend monsters. Gu Chernsha pondered. But once I enter the demon region, it will be extremely dangerous. It will be difficult to take care of the touch of Ghost God outside. I shouldn't overreach myself. Over the past few days, the touch of Ghost God tree had been quiet. No one attacked. That Wu Dangkong is so patient? She has gone through the grand sacrifice of the heavenly abode, and her cultivation level is probably not to be underestimated. I can't do anything to her in a one-on-one fight. Gu Chernsha deduced again. It's possible that she is breaking through to the next level. Once she does, she will attack me. Wu Dongkong's cultivation was really strong and she had exceeded Jing Fanqing's. Before she entered the palace, she was an expert at the Tao Realm 19 transformation. After she entered the palace, her cultivation became even stronger and she broke through many times. Gu Chernsha knew that she was probably at the Tao Realm 21 transformation, an expert who could turn into the 5 elements. Chapter 325. As Wu Dangkong, he didn't want to build a base here and refine the heavenly demon tree. Once the heavenly demon tree was successfully cultivated, the scenic martial chamber of commerce would be completely destroyed. Even Gu Xingjian's national fete party and the second prince Hong Yunhui would be pressured to the point where they couldn't even breathe. A few years ago, the Celestial Designer Association was unfathomable in Gu Chencha's heart. Now, he felt like he had a chance to surpass them. He learned all the secret techniques in the Heavenly Demon Book and mastered the Great Massacre God technique, Son of Heaven God sealing technique, 10,000 star flying celestial technique, etc. His horizons were broadened and he was comparable to many old antiques. There was also Zhuge, whose talent far exceeded the 2 old antiques of the Celestial Designer Association. With the wisdom of so many people, the calm celestial department's strength was increasing by the day. Right now, the biggest obstacle is actually the North Star Will, Ant Hu, and a few other primordial divine beasts' wills in the Heavenly Demon Tome. They prevent our tranquil immortal department from successfully refining the sphere of the will of the common people. Without these few things, the sphere of the will of the common people would probably be almost condensed. Then, we would be able to activate the power of this treasure and connect with our side. In that case, who would we be afraid of? The common people's wish sphere was really strong and had the ability to slice open space. It could send a large amount of energy to the heavenly demon tree. The 2 treasures were connected to each other and formed a whole. When they circulated, they could suppress the demon region. But not now. Even with Zhuge strength, he couldn't suppress the North Star Will. Zhuge is about to reach the 20th Tao Realm transformation. He will have magic power. When that happens, his nature will change. Gu Chernsha was able to keep track of the calm celestial department's movements. Zhuge was constantly communicating with him. Back when Zhuge had become the true lord of 7 stars, his cultivation base had reached the 18th Tao Realm transformation. During the past half-year, he had spent every day cultivating bitterly. He had reached the peak of the 19th transformation, the size manipulation transformation. At any moment, he would be able to combine his fleshly body, connate Empyrean energy, nascent divinity, and golden core, and transform them into magical power. After reaching this realm, Zhuge control over the life's wish sphere had increased once again. He could definitely suppress the North Star Will within it and even devour the souls of the primordial divine beasts. As time passed, Jin Suebua, Lu Baiwei, and the 4th's cultivation would also increase. It was especially so for the Sky Demon Book, Buzhou Palace, and Dragon Gate. They were supreme Dharma treasures that aided in cultivation. Now that the three of them were combined into one, coupled with the vermilion bird, black tortoise, and the water and fire origins, their cultivation speed was even faster than the 72 mystical gates of the immortal Tao. The tranquil immortal department had gradually become an invincible force that could move unhindered throughout the world. Zhuge Ye had also passed on many of his experiences to Gu Chunxia, so that Gu Chunxia would not have to take many detours in his cultivation. It was especially so for the Tao splitting separation and Great Tao Golden Core. Gu Chunxia felt no pressure at all. As long as he followed the prescribed order and accumulated strength, he could definitely succeed. In particular, the Sky Demon Tree could absorb many monsters and convert them into elixirs to replenish essence chi. Now that the Rainbow Demon Vine had transformed into the Ghostly God's Touch, it could condense the Little Ghost God King elixir. It was one step further than the Rainbow Essence Fruit and was comparable to the Black-Yellow elixir. If it went one step further, it could condense the Great Ghost God King elixir, which could replenish one's dermic powers. In Gu Chenchia's fief, Zhuge Ye, Lu Baiwe the Fourth, Jin Suebua, Vermilion Bird, Black Tortoise, and Lu Yu were still constantly condensing the life's wish sphere. Behind Lu Yu and the others, various phenomena of spring rain, summer thunder, scorching fire, autumn frost, and winter snow appeared. These were the manifestations of their divine swords. The divine swords had been completely activated and awakened. These divine swords were left behind by the ancient gods who controlled the 5 seasons. They were treasures of heaven and earth, and contained the essence of the laws. Now, the 5 of them were going to fuse the swords with their bodies. The 5 of you, gather your wills and fuse the 5 swords with your primordial spirits. Zhuge Ye said, "These 5 swords have been refined by me using a secret technique and have returned to their original appearance. They are the condensation of the 5 seasons laws. As long as you fuse these 5 swords with your primordial spirits, you will be able to ensure that your primordial spirits are not destroyed. They might even have some incredible uses. Once you succeed, killing Golden Dan Great Tao experts will be as easy as flipping your palms." What? We are only at the 15 transformations of Tao realm and our heavenly eyes are suspended in the air. We can actually kill Golden Dan Great Tao experts? Lu Yu and the others were shocked. That's right. You are the reincarnations of the 5 seasons gods. Originally, you had many opportunities. Unfortunately, the heavenly Tao changed and was distorted by others. Originally, your life path should have been to serve the Son of Heaven, fight against the imperial court, overthrow the Yonko, and rebuild the world. Zhuge Ye's eyes were filled with boundless wisdom. Now, things have changed. You have become generals who protect the imperial court. That is the fate of your lives. Mr. Zhuge, if my guess is correct, you are the reincarnation of the Lord of 7 Stars. You should be supporting the Son of Heaven and fighting against the imperial court, right? Lu Baiwe seemed to understand something. Unfortunately, the Emperor used his peerless cultivation base to reverse the heavenly Tao. He changed the course of the future and caused fate to change. Mister, didn't you serve the calming Immortal Bureau? Fate might not have changed. Zhuge Ye frowned. The future is shrouded in mist. I can't see the future clearly. Originally, I should have been fighting the Emperor and supporting the Son of Heaven. But as soon as I was born and obtained the 7 stars profundity, I thought about many things. I felt like I had to break some things. The Lord of 7 Stars isn't an eternal existence. She's just a puppet created by the heavenly Tao. I can't accept such a fate. Just what will happen in the future? Jin Suebua felt an inexplicable fear. It's hard for me to divine. Only after the Emperor comes out of seclusion will he be summoned. I hope he can receive some guidance. Zhuge Ye wanted to see the heavenly talisman Emperor more than anything else. Although he was the Lord of 7 Stars, there were still many things he couldn't see clearly about the future. There were very few people in the world who could guide him. Even the 3 legendary celestial sovereigns didn't really matter to him. Let's activate the mysteries and let these 5 people and the sword of 5 seasons fuse with our nascent souls. That way we'll benefit quite a bit, said the 4th. The common people's wish sphere slowly rotated, and a hazy light shot out, covering the 5 people. Their nascent souls immediately left their bodies and transformed into the 5 seasons sword. The 5 swords disintegrated into runes and images that merged with their nascent souls. As they wriggled, streams of energy flowed out of their blood vessels. These streams of energy were the divine blood of the god of 5 seasons. Jin Suebwa, Lu Baiwe, Zhuge Ye, and the others were more or less stained with some of the divine blood. They immediately understood the profound mysteries of the 5 seasons. We'll leave a portion of the divine blood for King Qin. Zhuge Ye said, King Qin is currently suppressing the demon realm and has mastered the touch of the demon god. Those monsters won't dare come out. When the time comes, that place will become our base of operations. We'll produce more treasures, pills, armor, and weapons than the Buzhou Palace. It's only a matter of time before we surpass the Celestial Designer Institute. What a pity! If I could free myself, I could go to the demon realm and refine the heavenly demon tree with Chunsha. That would be even better. Lu Baiwe sighed. Mr. Zhuge, how long do you think it will take us to suppress the Gochin will and who? Almost. After Zhuge Ye absorbed the divine blood of the 5 seasons, he seemed to have transformed again. His hands formed a complicated seal, and his body started to shrink. From 8 feet tall, he turned into a speck of dust. He was almost invisible. Suddenly, his body changed again. He was thousands of feet tall, like an ancient giant. He was as tall as a hill. Bang! In that instant, his fleshly body exploded, transforming into boundless vital energy. It was like a river of stars, a waterfall of stars, and a dragon of stars that swirled around his conferred land. At this moment, his Yuan Shen, Xiantian earth energy, and physical body had completely merged together to form a higher level of existence. That was magic power. Brute force, earth energy, Yuan Shen, and magic power. Magic power was the combination of the first 3. Once magic power was cultivated, the person would be the law, and the law would be the person. Zhuge Ye broke through to the 20th transformation of the Tao realm, gathering and dispersing impermanence. He combined the 3 essences into one and formed magic power. This kind of improvement was the essence. Magic power was a step further than Yuan Shen power. Activating magic treasures and refining magic tools were also different. For refining magic tools, essence blood was used to nourish the magic treasure. Earth energy was used to open the magic treasure's meridians and shape it. As for the Yuan Shen, it was used to give life to the magic treasure. Magic power was used to create laws for the magic treasure. Zhuge Ye was the Lord of 7 stars. With the help of the divine blood of the 5 seasons, he finally made up for some of the shortcomings of his physical body and formed magic power. Once he succeeded, he immediately infused his comprehension and magic power into the life's wish sphere. The entire sphere immediately spun at an unparalleled speed. Thousands of divine lights shot out and bombarded Lu Yu and the others. As soon as the 5 of them were activated, they immediately refined the divine sword and fused with their primordial spirits. They were no longer separate from one another. Their Yuan Shen was not in human form, but in the form of the 5 seasons. Spring rain, summer thunder, blazing sun, autumn frost, winter snow. Their cultivation levels also broke through from the 15th transformation to the 16th transformation. Very good. Lu Baiwe was delighted. The calm celestial department's strength is rising. Although Mr. Zhuge is at the 20th transformation, his combat strength can definitely fight against experts at the 25th or 26th transformation, right? Almost. If I use the life's wish sphere, Even antiques below the 30th transformation won't be able to kill me. Zhuge said, "Now we will activate the secret technique and open the core of the heavenly demon book. We will suppress the North Star will and Ant Hu so that they can't move. Then, I will set up a plan to obtain the Peerless Heaven book. With this book as fuel, we can completely refine the North Star will and complete the life's wish." "So, Mr. has such a plan," Jean Suebwa said. "I went against the Peerless Heavenly Book's decree and swallowed a 5-star profound mystery of my own accord. Even though my cultivation level rose explosively, and my aptitude also increased, it was still the same as betraying the Peerless Heavenly Book." Chapter 326. The third volume of the Eternal Heaven Book has been lost, but I suspect that it is deep within the chaotic space currents. Jean Suebwa said, "Our common people's wish ball has the ability to break through space. Right, logically speaking, only when one reaches the 27-world seamless Tao realm can one break through space." Zhuge said, "But now that the ball is formed so mysteriously, as long as we use up some of our powers, we can use the ability to open up space. The Heaven Demon Book itself is a godlike existence. We can slowly activate our instincts, and it will become our treasure." Lu Baiwa said. The few of them continued to refine it. At the same time, they used the ball to raise their own cultivation and to change the veins in the area. With the ball, they absorbed all sorts of void souls, spiritual energy, and celestial energy. The speed at which they absorbed increased by 1,000 times. Especially under Zhuge Ye's refinement, the 360 common people's god generals all reached the 15 or 16 Tao realm transformations. If a period of time passed, the common people's god general would even be able to reach the 18 great Tao realm golden core realm. If that was the case, Jingxian Division would have 360 golden core Tao experts, which would probably exceed many celestial sections. Moreover, this common people's god general was really mysterious. It was a combination of the Son of Heaven sealing technique and the Great Massacre God technique. It was also the strongest combination of Gu Chencha's common people's heaven mending technique and Lu Baiyue's common people's heaven reforming technique. The common people's god general that was created from the merger of these two techniques had more potential than the human fusion puppet. Moreover, this puppet had Zhuge Ye's calculations to make up for its weaknesses. In the tranquil immortal department, the current number 1 expert was undoubtedly Zhuge Ye. Even the black tortoise baby had to concede defeat to him. As for the vermilion bird baby, it hadn't grown up and was really weak now. Luckily, Lu Baiwe had broken through and cultivated to the 19 transformation, size manipulation. She was just a step away from the 20 transformation, gathering and scattering impermanence. As for Jean Suebwa, he was already at the 21 transformation body 5 element. He was about to break through to the 22 transformation, phenomenon of heaven and earth. However, he was no match for Zhuge Ye. As for the 4th, he had long since mastered the 18 transformations of the Great Path Jindan. However, because he was cultivating a secret technique, he had been stuck at this stage for a long time. He had yet to break through, but he was in no hurry. "The 5 of you, quickly go and assist His Highness." Zhuge Ye looked at Lu Yu and the other 4. "The 5 of you were supposed to lead the troops to patrol the borders of the feudal land to prevent the demonic barbarians from invading. However, there is no longer a need for that anymore. This ball of people's wish can completely stop the demonic and barbarian armies." Yes. Lu Yu and the other 4 were very pleased with themselves. They were about to try out their new divine abilities to kill the monsters. This is a concealment rune. You have to enter the ghost god's touch tree without making a sound. Then, Lord Chen will be able to enter the demon realm and slaughter the fiends. Zhuge Ye moved his finger, and a stream of magic power condensed into a rune. This rune also contains my magic power, the divine blood of the 5 seasons, and the laws of the vermilion bird and black tortoise. Cultivate this rune in the tree. When the time comes, I will give those who are spying on it a surprise. We will definitely not disappoint you. The 5 of them took the rune. With a slight movement, the hidden rune disappeared. With the divine blood of the 5 seasons, the laws of the vermilion bird and black tortoise, and your magic power, the evolution of the tree will probably accelerate, Lu Baiwa said. That's right. That is what I want. Zhuge was not happy at all. Instead, he seemed to have sensed something and was very worried. Since ancient times, when the world was in chaos, there were always internal troubles and then external troubles. The external troubles were the barbarians' invasion and the fiends' rampage. Now we have suppressed them. But the internal troubles are very serious. First, Gu Tanjian formed the National Fortune Party and roped in many princes. Then, Wu Dongkong's scenic martial chamber of commerce contacted the aristocratic families and the Black Heaven Earth sect. Then, the second prince has returned, and the Hong Yun Games have begun to stir up trouble. The aristocratic families, the immortal Tao, and the factions are all internal troubles. Pull one hair, and the whole body will be affected. Lu Baiwa said, these people don't care about the big picture. For their own interests, they do not hesitate to harm the world. They must be eliminated. It's still impossible for us to eradicate them now. These people all have powerful forces supporting them. Gu Xingjian's backer is the Titan god and the inheritor of ancient witchcraft. Other than that, there's also an extremely mysterious force. And I have more or less deduced the background of the ancient black sand. It should be related to the 3 heavenly venerables, Zhuge said. The 3 heavenly venerables? These 3 undying old fellows will definitely interfere. But although they are the leaders of the immortal Tao mystic sects in name, each of the 72 mystic sects has their own little plans. They are simply obeying the orders of the 3 heavenly venerables. Jean Suebwa laughed coldly. These 3 heavenly venerables are not good people. Of course, they have a great suppressive force. If they are really cultivating the second prince, it will be difficult for us to deal with them. It is indeed difficult to deal with. Even if I become a saint, I can do nothing to the 3 heavenly venerables. These 3 heavenly venerables are the teachers of the emperor. They have existed since the great desolate era. They have comprehended the mysteries of heaven and earth, broken through the 3 realms and 5 elements, and have surpassed the 36 transformations. Zhuge said, their cultivation is even above that of a saint. Apart from the emperor who can suppress them, no one in the world can do anything to these 3 heavenly venerables. What about the Xingqiong clan? The 4th suddenly asked. If the divine prefecture's most vicious was at his peak, he could indeed defeat the 3 heavenly venerables. Unfortunately, he was split by someone. Even if he recovered, he could not return to his former state. And the 3 heavenly venerables are much stronger than they were. Zhuge said, if the divine prefecture's most vicious were to come out now, I'm afraid he would not be able to escape the fate of being suppressed. Moreover, after so many years, the vitality of the divine prefecture's most vicious has been greatly reduced. It is very likely that the 3 heavenly venerables came out to refine the remains of the divine prefecture's most vicious. That is also a supreme artifact that can shake the heavens and earth. The Jade Kingdom must be sealed, especially at the bottom of the sea. Lu Baiwa suddenly said, the head of the divine prefecture's most vicious is sealed below, suppressed under the Jade Mountains. Now that the seal has loosened, the most important thing is that Wu Dangkong may have obtained the heavenly sacrifice talisman. If she goes to the bottom of the sea and uses the jade melting spell to refine those jade mountains, then the divine prefecture's most vicious can be released. That is also within my consideration. Zhuge smiled. Right now we are still a bit weak, so we need to borrow power. If we can obtain the head of the divine prefecture's most vicious, then we can use it to power the common people's wish sphere. The divine prefecture's most vicious seems to be indestructible. The fourth frowned. Rumor has it that back then, no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't kill him. In the end, he split his body and suppressed it in all directions. It doesn't matter if he can't be killed. Zhuge said, back then, it was the previous Lord of 7 Stars who schemed to split him. As the current Lord of 7 Stars, it is still possible for me to deal with his head. I have decided to obtain the Peerless Heavenly Tome and Eternal Heavenly Tome, fuse them into one, and refine the North Star will. I'm afraid I will have to borrow the power of the Divine Prefecture's most vicious to do this. With the fiendish aura of his head, we can completely subdue these things. It's up to you, sir. Lu Baiwei gazed at the common people's wish sphere. This treasure is destined to shake the world. It will become the most supreme of all treasures. Of course, the number 1 treasure of the wilderness is the Wilderness Dragon Gate, and the number 1 treasure of the Middle Ages is the Heavenly Sacrifice Talisman. In the future, I hope that the number 1 treasure will be our common people's wish sphere. Zhuge Ye's words shocked everyone. Who would have guessed that Zhuge Ye's ambitions were so great? To refine this treasure would be on par with the Wilderness Dragon Gate and the Heavenly Sacrifice Talisman. Right now, this plan was nothing more than a pipe dream. Bang! As they spoke, a talisman flew out from Lu Baiwei's body. Lu Chongxiao's image appeared on it, and he looked anxious. Baiwei, just now, the Emperor's imperial edict appeared on the table in the study. He wants us to prepare the ceremony and crown the second prince, Gu Xianxia, as crown prince. What? Lu Baiwei was shocked. What is he trying to do? Crown Wu Dangkong as concubine Ming and the chief supervisor of the study. This is already a hidden danger to the imperial court. Now, he wants to crown Gu Xianxia as crown prince? Isn't it obvious that he wants to give the world to this person? I don't understand what the emperor is trying to do. This is also the emperor's plan. You don't have to worry. Zhuge Ye seemed to have expected this move. The emperor is far-sighted, and he is playing with the heavens. This plan is to lure the snake out of its hole, and to see the changes in the heavenly Tao. Our Coming Xian Bureau is an independent yamen, and we have the imperial edict. Even if he becomes the crown prince, he can't do anything to us. But Gu Xianxia has evil intentions. If he becomes the crown prince, he will have a righteous reputation, and he will hinder our plans. I'm afraid it won't be easy. Jin Suebua didn't look good either. It doesn't matter. Gu Xianxia is backed by the 3 celestial masters. If he becomes the crown prince, the 3 celestial masters will give him more support. They might even go against the rules. This way, the emperor will have an excuse to get rid of the 3 celestial masters, and he can use this opportunity to train us. Zhuge Ye, on the other hand, was very happy. Once the news came out, I knew the emperor's great talent and strategy. Originally, the ancient mystic sand was hidden among the people, stirring up trouble in the dark. Now, it's out in the open. Also, Gu Xianxia is ambitious. He won't be satisfied with the current situation. How can he be manipulated by the 3 celestial masters? Believe it or not, the day he becomes the crown prince, he will come to us and cooperate with us to empty the 3 celestial masters. That's reasonable. Lu Baiwei thought about it carefully, and it was true. The emperor wants Gu Xianxia to be the crown prince because he wants to restrain Wu Dangkong. The 2 of them are cooperating now, but it will be different when he becomes the crown prince. They will fight each other, which will cause the 3 celestial masters and the Wu family to fight. Even the Black Heaven and Earth sect will be involved. We can sit on the mountain and watch the tigers fight. Will they join forces to destroy us? The 4th asked. It's possible, but we are not dead. So I asked Bao Ming'er and Suebwa to fan the flames, Zhuge Ye said. For example, I told Gu Xiansha that Wu Dangkong has the heaven sacrifice decree. What will happen? It's a good opportunity. Lu Baiwei clapped her hands. In this way, we will have more opportunities to fish in troubled waters. Of course. Zhuge Ye nodded. Your Highness and the Princess, just watch me. At this time, in the grass of the bottomless sea of sin. Chapter 327. She was the chief minister and the regent of the imperial court. She would be informed of the news immediately. What? A decree to confer Gu Xiansha as the crown prince? Prepare for the ceremony? Wu Dangkong looked at Gu Xiansha in disbelief. Gu Xiansha seemed to get the news too. She looked a little excited. What do you think? I'm right? The position of the crown prince must be mine. Gu Xiansha said, I'm the strongest among all the princes. Although 19th prince and the 4th are doing well, their cultivation is still much lower than mine. Really? I think Gu Qiancha's cultivation is not weaker than yours. Wu Dongkong's heart was spinning rapidly. This thing happened so suddenly that she was still not mentally prepared. Although she did not have absolute power in the court, she had a righteous reputation. Now there was a crown prince. What would happen? Your Highness, you won't object to me being the crown prince, will you? Gu Xiansha seemed to see through her mind. 19th prince's cultivation is indeed high and he is somewhat powerful. But if I fight with him one-on-one, he will definitely die. What about Zhuge Ye? Wu Dangkong asked. I can't do anything to Zhuge Ye, but I can recruit him. Gu Xiansha was very confident. Why are you so confident? Do you really think you have power after becoming the crown prince? Wu Dangkong did not believe it at all. By the way, are we still here? You should go back to accept the congratulations of the officials. That's the only way. The key is to go back and become the crown prince. Gu Xiansha sighed. This time, the plan was flawless, but Gu Qiansha suddenly had a godlike power in his body. He refined the monster of 20 changes, causing us to fail at the last step. He won't be able to take advantage of us for a while. Let's go back and do the important things. It's still not too late to come back. Wu Dangkong was still thinking about how to suppress Gu Xiansha in the court, so that he would not take away her power. Whoosh! Gu Xiansha couldn't wait either. The position of crown prince was very important to him. It was a righteous title. If anything happened to Fu Fu the Great, he could immediately ascend the throne and control the world. This was more important than anything else. Wu Dangkong flew up with him and disappeared in an instant. I've gained some benefits in the bottomless sea of sin. At least I've captured demons and completed the great sacrifice of the heavenly abode. My cultivation has improved several times. Gu Xiansha wants to seize power from me. I won't let him go. Direct sacrifice? After he becomes the crown prince, he has a strong emperor's qi. It can be said that he has gathered the great luck of heaven and earth. If I sacrifice him in the future, I'm afraid my cultivation will be improved to a terrifying level, just like those old antiques. Wu Dangkong thought of many plans in a flash. After Wu Dangkong and Gu Xiansha left, Gu Qiansha secretly breathed a sigh of relief. They finally left. If they attacked me together, it would be difficult for me to resist. Especially Wu Dangkong. He also has the power of time and space. I'm definitely not his match in a one-on-one fight. But now that Gu Xiansha has become the crown prince, things may not be easy in the future. He had received the news from Zhuge Ye. Swish. He returned to his touch of ghost and god again. At this time, 5 figures appeared. They landed directly in the depths of the canopy and showed their bodies. When the 5 saw Gu Qiansha, they hurriedly knelt. Greetings, Your Highness. Very good. You have indeed merged your primordial spirits with the 5 seasons divine sword. At this moment, your primordial spirits are so strong that you can fight a Jindan Great Path Cultivator. Any one of you alone can kill a Jindan Great Path Cultivator. Gu Chunsha already knew everything that had happened in the feudal lands. Your Highness, this is the blood of the god of 5 seasons that Mr. Zhuge has refined. If your Highness fuses it into your body, you will be able to master the profound meaning of the 5 seasons. Heaven and earth follow. The 5 of them took out a talisman. The talisman immediately transformed into Zhuge Ye's form. This was a manifestation of spiritual power. Zhuge Ye waved his hand, and 5 beams of light flew into Gu Chencha's body. Suddenly, Gu Chencha's sea of energy and sea of consciousness revealed the true meaning of the 5 seasons. Mr. Zhuge, you have used this spiritual power manifestation to oversee my touch of ghost and god. It can also strengthen the cultivation of this manifestation of yours. Gu Chunsha was overjoyed. He knew that Zhuge Ye had already cultivated to the 20 changes of gathering and dispersing. His spiritual power could form a manifestation at will, and he could move independently. This touch of ghost and god is not to be underestimated. It is the #1 treasure among the Sky Demon secret technique. After mastering it, thousands of transformations can be performed at will. I will oversee it and study the transformations of the primordial tree with your Highness. Perhaps we can learn some of the secrets of the primordial divine body. Zhuge Ye said, Your Highness, please rest assured and go fight in the demon area. If that is the case, I am completely at ease. Gu Chunsha knew that with Lu Yu's group and Zhuge Ye here, he could definitely go explore the demon area. If that is the case, I will go to the demon area to capture demons. In the midst of battle, I will truly refine the power of time and space and the bloodline of the 5 seasons divine body into my own body. As he spoke, his body flew up and directly rushed into the pitch-black cave in the middle of the grassland, entering the demon area. The moment he entered the underground cave, Gu Chunsha felt the power of time and space distort. It was vibrating with the power in his body. He knew that he had entered another spacetime, and that was the demon area. He was very clear about the nearby demon area because he had already used his innate gang qi to form threads and a huge net to capture many demons. There were no longer any demons in the thousands of miles radius of the demon area. Some of the demons had retreated, while the weaker ones were all captured by Gu Chunsha. Therefore, Gu Chunsha wanted to go deeper to capture more demons. Buzz, he landed in the demon area. The entire demon area was filled with demon qi. It was pitch black and gloomy. There was no light or brightness. If one were to live in this place for a long time, one's soul would feel extremely depressed. The demon area was also known as the underworld in ancient times. It was a bottomless place with no sunlight and no hope. Even demons hoped to come to the land of infinity to enjoy the beautiful scenery of the mountains and seas. Gu Chunsha looked at his surroundings. The ground was also covered with pitch-black stones. There was also roiling demon qi and a stinky swamp. The swamp's muddy water was like rotten flesh. There were many demon maggots wriggling in it, which was extremely disgusting. Even with his cultivation, he did not want to stay in the demon area for a moment longer. This place was even more smelly and filthy than a cesspool. If the Dharma treasures and flying swords of Taoist cultivators were to enter here, they would have their spirit qi wiped out and become useless. Their innate gang qi and essence spirit would also be tainted by the demonic nature and completely demonized, turning into fiends and monsters. Fortunately, Gu Chencha's cultivation was profound and the cultivation technique he cultivated was the strongest in the world. He could even refine demon qi and turn it into power. Heaven and earth change, sun and moon divine radiance, demons become ghosts, evil ghosts move. Gu Chencha's hands moved, activating his essence spirit and gang qi. They wriggled continuously, forming a vortex behind him. The vortex absorbed the demonic energy. The demonic energy was compressed within the vortex and scattered. Then, it turned into runes. These runes formed a black sun that hung behind Gu Chencha's head. This was an unparalleled demon refinement secret art. It was recorded in the Maha Suppression Sutra, and it was an unparalleled method to make use of hell's demonic chi. This art was called the Maha Black Sun Art, using one's essence spirit to absorb demon chi and refine it into a black sun. After mastering it, the black sun could hang behind one's head and release demon fire that could incinerate all things. It could also be turned into demonic treasures that could collect souls and turn them into demon gods. The Maha Black Sun Art was a supreme art created by the king of all gods, the king of hell, God Mahakasyapa. Of course, in the Maha Suppression Sutra that Gu Chencha had obtained, this art was incomplete. However, with his supreme wisdom, Gu Chencha had deduced some of the variations that could be used to restrain demon chi. As he walked through the devil domain, the Maha Black Sun behind his head spun like a whale sucking in water. The more demon chi he absorbed, the more demon chi he absorbed. In the end, the Maha Suppression Sutra wrapped around his body, burning with demon fire. He no longer looked human, but an expert among devils. With the Maha Black Sun, he didn't need to fear the corrosion of demon chi in the devil domain. All the demon chi became nourishment for the Maha Black Sunday. Gu Chencha's cultivation base was extremely profound. He was proficient in the primeval devil Tao, primeval demon Tao, primeval immortal Tao, and primeval human Tao. When combined, he was virtually invincible in the same realm. In the blink of an eye, he left the place where the seal was broken and went deeper into the devil domain. In the devil domain, in addition to the rancid swamps, there were, of course, demonic herbs, demonic trees, demonic mountains, and even castles built by monsters. Among the monsters there was no lack of wisdom. Naturally, they would gather a group of demons and use their means to command the demon soldiers and generals. After flying for tens of thousands of miles, Gu Chencha suddenly found a huge military fortress of monsters in front of him. Although the military fortress was not as majestic as the Great Stone Wall, it was as high as a mountain and covered an area of hundreds of miles. It was like a huge steel monster entrenched in the devil domain. The densely packed monsters were like ants coming and going in an orderly manner. This military fortress was actually made of nether iron. The demon chi was soaring. The two monsters that retreated from the bottomless sea of sin could be vaguely seen in it. When Gu Chencha was refining the heavenly demon tree, he sensed that there were 3 monster leaders in the bottomless sea of sin. One of them was at the 20th transformation realm, and the other 2 were at the 21st and 22nd transformation realm. He had refined the monster at the 20th transformation realm, but the other 2 stronger ones had retreated. It was obvious that the stronger the monsters were, the more cautious they were. The monsters probably built a military fortress here to gather troops and prepare to break the seal and occupy the bottomless sea of sin. Then, they would occupy the Sin province. Gu Chencha knew at a glance. He was determined to destroy this military fortress and capture all the monsters to feed the touch of the ghostly god. He hoped that it could evolve into a heavenly demon tree as soon as possible. If he could capture experts at the 21st or 22nd transformation realm and let the touch of the ghostly god absorb them, it might really be possible to evolve the heavenly demon tree quickly. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.